currently got about $200 in my personal account.
The whole time I was out there, all I could think about was like what calling my mom was going to be like and telling her that.
Negative $500 in my business account.
Even before we won.
Today's April 2nd, 2023. And I will not be like this for long. Y'all watch.
Drew Haas is one half of the duo that conquered Netflix's Outlast Season 2.
Just tell me what was going through your mind when you realized that you and Drake were going to win $1 million.
To have gone through what we went through, I'm kind of afraid that I'm never going to experience anything like that ever again.
You got deep into manifestation. What exactly were you doing?
Okay, I'm about to tell you some hippie shit. I'll never forget laying there the first night with 4 people I've never met in my whole entire life. I remember looking up and never experiencing that kind of quiet before.
So what's up with you and Bree?
I knew it was coming.
It's just so crazy how quick a narrative can go around the world that
You try going somewhere and having a camera and audio on you for a whole month.
there's a lot of us who have friends that we give 20 hours a week that we should give 20 minutes a week.
Your good friends should be the ones calling you saying, hey, you're being a piece of shit.
Cody Sanchez.
Oh, Cody, the whole Cody Sanchez thing. That is the most honest, worst up that I've ever done in my whole entire life, probably.
I know you posted a picture of what you look like going into the show. Shredded, going out.
All that muscle just gone.
Welcome to the Sacred Thomas Podcast.
Hold on real quick. I noticed that only 3% of the people who watch this channel are actually subscribed. Could you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button? It helps the channel tremendously. And the bigger that the channel gets, the better the podcast will get. I appreciate you and enjoy the video. We're live.
Let's do it.
What's up, bro?
What's up?
We were just having a conversation and it's like, all right, now we're live and it's
Here we are.
awkward and it's just, no.
Exactly. Like
No, but if the audience doesn't know, bro, we've been cool since 2020.
2020. That's when I met your big tall ass.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, freaking good times. But a lot has freaking changed.
A lot for both of us.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
It's been fun to see, man. It's been so much fun to watch the growth of our whole friend group, kind of.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
It's been cool.
that's what I was. Whenever I posted that story after the showing.
Oh, dude. By the way, thank you so much for that. That like hit me right here, dude. Yes, thank you. My mom even sent it to me. It was like, go watch Sacred's post.
I wanted to get on here to really give a huge congratulations to Drew for surviving in the freaking wilderness to win $1 million. I mean, how freaking awesome is that? So proud of you, man. You know, I'm having one of those moments where it's like, yo, I know that guy. It's so crazy because it's like, I feel like I'm in a position where all the friends are starting to win. I mean, my boy got a Netflix show. I got another friend with a Disney show. It's just like you surround yourself with great people and they're going to bloom and elevate around you. And it's
Oh, for real?
That's my dog, man. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. No, because I like it's. You know, there's this has never happened to me where one of my friends won the amount of money that you just won. So I don't know how I would respond. I'm just like, yo, I'm just so freaking happy for you, bro.
I don't even know how to respond. But I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah, wait, but I want to start here because, you know, we knew we were going to do the podcast today.
Yep.
And you text me a picture, bro. What is the picture you texted me that happened today? I'm just out of nowhere.
Just like by chance, I go and I've been struggling financially. Like I have the last 10 years. I've been doing my own thing and like it you know, busted my ass on myself, working on myself. But it's been hard, you know, being an entrepreneur and everything else. But I opened my phone today because I've been stressing about bills, not sure when we're gonna get paid for the show. I go to check my phone just so I can look, you know, okay, am I gonna be able to pay these bills coming through here? And boom, there's $500 grand in my account. It's like, yo. And I run downstairs and nobody's home but my cousin. And I'm like freaking out. He's like, what? And I'm like, I just got my deposit, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I got to call Drake. And for the audience that doesn't know, Drake was the guy from Midland, Texas that I won it with. Yeah. So I FaceTimed Drake and I put it like on screen record, didn't record the audio, but it's fine. And I was like, dude, I was trying to be cool. I was like, be cool. I was like, dude, what are you doing right now? He's like, I'm sitting in my office at work. And I was like, go check your bank account. And he goes, no. And he checked it and his face is just like, we were just like almost crying, dude. It was just crazy.
Bro. Yeah.
And the day, like at like 2 hours before the podcast. It's crazy, man. Like it's been a whole year of waiting almost.
Yeah, man. I'm so happy for you, bro. Because it's one thing for you to like, it's coming, but then to see it in your account.
I screenshot it. I was like, oh, dude. And see that green 500 grand on there and just be like,
yeah.
Crazy, dude.
So for those of you in the audience who somehow skipped the trailer, because I'm going to do a trailer that shows exactly who you are.
Awesome.
Drew just won a survival game show that's on Netflix. It's called Outlast Season 2. And he won the whole damn thing. Him and Drake.
And another big old boy from Texas. How tall are you?
6'5".
He's 6'7", so I'm 5'6", so you can imagine what that looks like on TV.
I mean, I saw it.
Yeah. It's like, it looked like his little brother running around with it.
Yeah. Yeah, but for the people who are watching this and just haven't seen it, I want to just throw out the props, man. Because, like, of course, like, you're my boy. I'm going to watch it because, I wanted you on, period, because I know what type of dude you are off that. And we've already done a podcast together.
Right.
But watching the show, it's really freaking good.
I appreciate it. They did a great job.
Yeah.
Man. They really did. They did a great job.
Yeah.
Am I crazy happy about all the edits that we got? Not all of them, but you know what? It's top 10 on Netflix for the last 2 weeks straight. So I'm not complaining about it. They did a really good job.
Okay, yeah. I think top. Yeah, when I saw it, I saw top 3. I don't know if it's got climbed.
Yeah,
more.
It's been kind of up and down. It went from 6 down to 4, 5, and just 3, and like it's. Been
Let's
all
get it to
place.
number 1 after this pod.
That would be great.
Those are if you're listening to this, share this with someone.
Yeah.
But you said you're not happy about the edits.
It's just I told my family too. I'm like, you know what? This is actually a really good thing for my ego because I've spent my whole life trying to do right by people and like you have this idea of yourself. The ego is creating this thing of self. Like you have this picture of yourself and how you want other people to perceive you as a good person, as this and that. And then you spend a month in wilderness. You're starving. You're hungry. You're crying. You're extremely emotional. You're hangry and. You think you come out and you're like, you think it's going to be one way and you see it. And like for me watching it, I was like, oh, I look very one dimensional. And they just cut out a lot of the real emotions that I felt like I was feeling out there. And some of the stuff that we kind of work through as a team. But I have to realize that, hey, this is reality TV. This isn't all about me. And not everybody can be the heroes on the show, but it's like I said, it's been humbling. You know what I see? It, like seeing how somebody else is portraying you, and like it hasn't been great because I've been getting some hate online and stuff like that. Mostly love. Like it's like I've gotten thousands of messages from all over the world, so much support, so much love. But it's the ones that like are negative that just right here. It's like don't read the comments, but like you can't. My mom, like I can see my mom like looking at stuff at midnight and like she's just so butthurt about it and stuff like that. But I honestly think it's going to be a moment of growth for sure.
100%.
1000%.
Yeah. There's certain people who can't really handle it, but I feel like you are
for sure, man. And I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to see it from like an open-minded perspective. Like, man, I'm just as guilty of watching TV and judging the person that's on the TV by the way that it's edited. Like now seeing the flip side of the coin, like being like, I'm not kidding you. The whole time I was out there, I didn't think I'd give them anything to make me sound like an asshole, to look bad. And I'm watching it and the way they cut things together, and I'm just like, whoa. Yeah. Like now I'm seeing like it gives me a lot of respect and for other people that are on TV. And I read a comment that was like, hey man, if you want to be on TV, you should probably have thicker skin. I was watching a friend of mine comment back to somebody that was commenting him in the comments. And that's what the person said, like, hey, maybe you should have thicker skin if you're on TV. And I was like, okay.
Oh, somebody on the show?
No, it was somebody that was commenting on somebody else's deal that was on the show and spewing hate at them. And they lashed back and hit them with straight facts. And the person was like, hey, I'm just voicing my opinion and you should have thicker skin if you're going to want to be on TV. And I was like, that's valid.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Yeah, that is valid.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's at the end of the day, especially with a show like this, you're taking people from all walks of life that haven't necessarily been on TV. So, yeah, you can say that from the outside, just in the comments in your cave or wherever the heck you're typing it from. But until you're in it, you don't really know how you're going to react.
No, man, and you don't realize how emotional you're going to be either. I was not prepared for the level of emotion that all of us were feeling while we were out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense, super intense.
Yeah, so let's actually go back to the beginning, because how did you even get on the show? Like I just want to go from the beginning, bro. How did this even happen?
So I got reached out to on Instagram. I was like in my hidden messages. This message from a lady who was like, hey, I work with Metal Flowers Casting, I believe it was called. And like your profile, I'd like to talk to you about maybe, like we cast for survival shows and stuff like that. I almost deleted it. And then I responded back to the lady and I was very dry with her because I thought it was in my hidden messages. I thought it was BS. So I messaged her and then I apologized for being so blunt with her. And then once I realized that it wasn't BS, and we hopped on a phone call, told her my life story, cried on the phone with her. Like it was like told her got way deeper than I thought I was going to get.
Okay.
And turns out it was going to be for a Mr. Beast video. I was auditioning basically for a Mr. Beast video where they were going to stick me or whoever who got that spot on a raft in the ocean for 100 days. And if you make it 100 days, you make $500,000.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Beast scratched that idea and ended up doing a week. I'm sure some of you have seen it, but he did a week with just his crew out on this raft. And they were like, hey, we like you and we think we can get you on something else. Can we keep you in rotation basically? And I was like, yeah, it'd be great. So a month later they called me, and this is, I think, April 2023.
Okay.
Which is really crazy because in April is when I really got deep into manifestation, and that's just like where things really just started, like prayer and manifestation, dude. And when I say stuff was happening so fast, it was like stuff would happen and I'd start crying because it was just like I couldn't believe it was happening.
Okay, wait, let's dive deep.
Okay,
quick pivot. Let's dive deep into that. You got deep into manifestation. What exactly were you doing? Because I feel like I'm interested in it.
Let me learn you something, dude.
Okay.
Let me tell you. So, a friend of mine, Ryan Leisner, we're kind of on the same wavelength with things like that, and like we're very. I like even with some of my clients, I'm like, hey, I'm about to tell you some hippie shit, but like that's like from the outside looking in, that's what it seems like. But like me and him are kind of on the same wavelength of like spirituality and things like that. And he hits me up one day and he's like, hey man, I'm gonna send you something. I want you to go look at it if you can find it, because it keeps getting deleted off of YouTube. But it was Your Wish is Your Command. It was like 12 or 16 hours recording. And I had kind of read a lot about manifestation and kind of dived into it a little bit before then, but then I listened to this deal. It took me like a week to listen to it just because I did it while I was driving. Most of it was Kevin Trudeau. It was kind of like, he's kind of weird, but like everything he was saying in there just had my mind just flowing and then it kind of made me remember of what's the book or the Secret. Have you ever seen The Secret?
I've seen it and
I've read it, heard of it.
Yeah.
So I watched that years ago and it was great. But this really delved down into how to do it and how your body should feel while you're doing it. And I just full blown deep dived into it. And I tied it in with my, cause I was like, how can I tie this in with my like religion, my belief in Jesus Christ and God? And like, how can I do that? And sidestepping a little bit, but then I went deep into a rabbit hole about manifestation after that and how to do it. And somebody was like, build a satellite in your brain, shoot it up into the cosmos, and just imagine every time that you're manifesting that all the good things that you want, that you're thinking of, and this thing is just sucking them all in from the universe and bringing it down straight into you. So build this thing however you want it to look, and be a cardboard box in the like little satellite up there, but it's yours, and it's shooting down all the things that you wish and that you want. And I just turned that satellite into like a picture of God. And so when I manifest, that's what I do. But the trick to doing it is completely relaxing your body, starting at your feet, your legs, your abdomen, your your hands, your arms, shoulders, neck, all the way to your jaw, then your tongue. And when you're completely relaxed, go back into your memory and find a time that you're really happy, that you're like, you feel good. That's the most important part, is like feeling good. So like go back into your memory, think of something that's like you're just ecstatic about, like you're feeling, like get your vibration high basically. And once you're there and totally relaxed, then tune into the things that you want to attract in your life. And dude, I'm not shitting you. When I started doing that, stuff was happening so fast. I mean, like I started taking acting at that point in time, like 6 months before. And I was like, I was manifesting like producers and directors want to work with me. And then I was not even kidding you. I was like, I've got $500,000 in my bank account. This is in April.
You like for real?
Swear to God.
You're not bullshitting.
Not kidding you. Not kidding you, dude. I'm about to cry right now because it freaks me out so much. But, and then these like random message comes up, and I think it's BS, and like, then the show happens. And then, so before I go out there, speed forward, all this manifestation, not to get deep into it.
Okay.
So I'm like hooked on this manifestation stuff. Like stuff's just happening for me. Like I'm making it further and further.
You're
in these
doing
interviews.
it daily.
Yeah, I'm doing it daily. Like at least 10 minutes every day. On my back porch, after like during or before and after that, I'm journaling, and then I say a prayer or whatever. But then I'm like intentionally, I put on the same frequency, like Hertz frequency, and then for some reason, like it just gets me right into it now when I turn on that same one. But 10 minutes every morning, every morning that I can get to it. And I'm making it further and further in these interviews. And then I go get a pulmonary test, an EKG, how to get a blood test, how to do a 600 question personality trait test. And I had to do a psych evaluation, all this stuff just to maybe get on this show. It's crazy. And then several interviews. And then, I'm getting further and further along in the process. And then it's like 2 weeks before we ship out. And I get a call, and they're like, hey, we like you a lot, but we want to ship you out. We want to bring you out here as an alternate. And I was like super bummed because I just spent the last 2 months like really hard getting ready for this. I stopped working. I shot a recurve bow because I'd been a compound bow hunter my whole life. I went and bought a recurve bow, shot it. It's still written down on my phone, but like 2,226 times or 25 times. I had fluid in my ear from shooting it so much I couldn't sleep at night. My neck was so tight. Like I went at it hard, dude. I really prepared super hard for this. Watched thousands of hours of bushcrafting videos. Wow. I feel like thousands of hours. It was probably a couple hundred hours, and anyway, they called me, telling me I'm going to be an alternate, and I was super bummed out for like an hour. And I was like, you know what? It's a free trip to Alaska. Let's just have an open mind about this and be positive. And like, I still was like, I'm going to get on the show. I'm going to get on the show, manifesting it. So they shipped me out there. They have to put us, like, it's kind of still COVID regulations and stuff like that we had to go by. So we had to stay in a hotel for a certain amount of time before the show. No cell phones. Weren't allowed to talk to anybody. Like, we're just got 3 meals a day, got an hour outside a day. But I laid in the bed every day, and I manifested. I was like, they're going to knock on my door. They're going to walk in and tell me that they're putting me on the show. So after the second day being in the hotel, I do my interview with the producers. And then from there, I lay in my bed for a couple of days, and every day I close my eyes for 15 minutes, and like, they're going to come in here and knock on the door just like this, come in here like, hey, you made it on the show. So I'm literally laying in bed one day in this hotel room, bored out of my mind. I'm like, I'm going to do my manifestation. I'm laying there, eyes are closed, and I'm manifesting, just, and I just had a feeling. I went to the door, and 3 of the producers walked in, and they were like, hey, Drew, so, you're an alternate for the show, but we just want to let you know that we're going to put you in. Crazy.
How'd you feel?
I hugged them all, like immediately hugged all of them. And I was like, thank you so much. I'm so excited. And then when they walked out, it was also like that, oh shit, it worked again moment. Like, oh my God, there it is again. And I cried, I ran around and like was crazy. And then I spent a lot of time naked in the hotel. I like, just like, if I'm by myself, just like naked. So I was like, I stood in front of a mirror, butt ass naked, and looked at myself in the eye and like repeated over and over again, like, I'm going to win Outlast season 2. I'm going to win Outlast season 2. And then boom. And then every night I was laying down, I pictured what it would feel like. And that's the thing, is like, you want to picture how good you're going to feel in that moment. Like you have it right now. Like you have to like convince yourself that you have it now. Because the mind doesn't know any difference between what's real and what you perceive to be real. It's a whole. I could go down a rabbit hole with it. Like it's quantum physics and everything else. Like it goes much deeper than that. But I know I sound like a nerd talking about this shit, but it's undeniable. That and my faith in God tied in with that is just insane.
It's almost inseparable to your faith in God, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like it's just this belief in a higher power, but the fact that you can tap into it, like ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, we can call it different things.
You can call it different things. You could tie it into, but like it works. And like I cannot tell you, like if you're not practicing manifestation, do it. Look it up. Figure out how you can do it. There's lots of free YouTube videos, but like it will change your life fast.
You know,
like
it's
fast.
I've always been the type of person who, if I want to get something, I go out and get it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to manifestation, I've always been curious, but I've also never been the type to think that you can just recite something and then it's going to come to you.
You have to have action.
With that said, I believe combining that with action 100%. Because
1000%. Because you can't just sit in a room and meditate and manifest, and all of a sudden somebody walks at your door and hands you $500,000. Like it's got to take action, but like action with the manifestation. If you just 10 minutes a day, man. If you can do it longer, great. But like I had a client call me one day, and he was like, "You remember that hippie shit you told me? Remember that hippie shit, dude? It's working. It's freaking me out, man." Yeah, he's a comedian. He was a comedian, and like he's like, I just booked 2 gigs this week, and like I had nothing, and I was like, started doing that hippie shit, and it worked.
Okay, I'm gonna do it then. I'm gonna do it, bro.
Yeah, dude, you especially with where you're going right now.
Yeah.
You're freak
I mean,
out.
to a degree, it's like you really in those moments you concentrate for 10 minutes, like it's a meditation, it's manifestation, all the things.
Intentional.
Very intentional. I do on a daily basis, I believe in myself. So that's got me this far. But I'll try giving it 10 minutes a day.
Try it, man. I'm telling you. I'll send you the same thing that I listen to. It's a special kind of hertz. I'm a nerd when it comes to I like a straight nerd when it comes to manifestation, just because like it started working so fast. I was just like, okay, what else can I learn?
Yeah.
But like down to like vibrations of different frequencies and music and the relaxation part of it and the being very happy, and then, okay, perceive it as I have now and how that feels. That's what I did while I was out there. And I reinforced it with the team. Anytime somebody on my team would be like, hey, if we win, I'd be like, no, when we win.
Okay.
When we win.
Yeah.
Spoke it into existence.
Yeah. And I love what you said about not only did you manifest it, but you also, you said that you put in those hours with the bow hunting. You put in those hours with
studying on bushcraft. I mean, like I grew up in the country, man. I grew up in Hallettsville, Texas, 2,000 people. Like there was nothing to do but hunt and fish. And a lot of the stuff that we did out there, I mean, it was stuff that I just directly applied from my childhood, but like starting a fire in wet conditions and purifying water with a bunch of different ways, or this or that. What kind of plants that I can eat. Like that was like, I had to study a bunch of that stuff, even though they make it look like we're dumb rednecks from Texas out there. But
so wait, you already knew that stuff, or you studied it for this show? I
knew a lot of stuff just from growing up out in the country, like especially from hunting and like how to clean an animal, how to like field dress an animal, like all that stuff I knew. But when it came to like the number one thing out there was building a fire in wet conditions with the flint striker. Right. And I got our fire started in the first hour and a half or 2 hours. Yeah. And there was a team that went 5 or 6 days without starting their fire. Like it was wet.
It seemed like they fucked themselves doing that.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't eat. They didn't eat anything for 5 days.
Yeah. But I do want to get to that. But let's because I kind of want to walk. I want to get into your mind throughout this whole process. So you get on the show. It's pretty cool. You got a chance to choose your team. Yeah. What was like? Walk me through what you were thinking whenever you got a chance to choose it. When you got a chance to choose your team, walk me through what you were thinking and how did you make your choice? So we weren't allowed to talk to each other for this hour and a half, 2 hour boat ride in the middle of nowhere. So you're just looking around at 16 other strangers from all different ages, all different places, and you're literally judging a book by the cover.
But I seen this dude in the back of I didn't know how big he was, tall he was, or anything. He was just sitting in the back of the boat, had a baseball cap on, camo, and he literally looked like a dude from like Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, just some of my friends back home. And just had this look in his eye too, but at the same time he was being goofy. He was like moving around, kind of jigging, dancing, like doing all this stuff. And I was like, I like that dude. I was like, for some reason I was like, I'm gonna pick that dude first if I can pick. And we step off the boat. I'm the last one on the boat, so I'm one of the first ones that gets up to the package or whatever, where the axes were, and I was able to pick first, and I picked him first, and we went the distance. I had picked Sammy and Emily as well, and then we had Bree on our team, so we had a team at 5 at one point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you pick Emily and Sammy?
Emily has done several like bushcrafting schools. She's even taught bushcrafting, and particularly she knew how to identify like 20 something or 25 different plants and mushrooms and stuff out there that were like edible or medicinal. Yeah.
She told you that on the show?
You were able to say 3 things about yourself, like for the people that are picking. So she said that, and I was like, okay, well, I could definitely use some help on the on that side of things with the plants and stuff like that. And then Sammy was like, I have 10 plus years of bushcrafting experience, and I was like, okay, awesome. But I also picked them because they were young and they looked healthy and athletic. And from watching the first season, I knew that there was a physical challenge at the end. And I was like, okay, well, I've got to have people that after a month or 2 of this can perform. And so that's kind of where I was on my picking people.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So you pick your team, you get started. What did y'all do? Just walk me through the first couple of days.
So we each had our assigned sectors, basically. Like we had like, okay, here's your area. Go pick a spot where you want to set up your camp. And like, this is home camp. And there was 4 teams of 4. So there was Alpha, we were Bravo. Yeah. And then across the bay was Charlie and Delta, which we didn't really have access to them at all. I don't know what was going on.
Until Bree came over.
Until Bree walked 8 miles.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
I also want to get into y'all's...
the whole
whatever happened with y'all on the show.
Yeah.
But I do want to put it out there so that y'all know it's coming.
But yeah, we had to pick a spot. So we picked a spot that looked like a decent spot to build a shelter, and then we kind of kicked around ideas for a little bit until Sammy kind of was like, we should try a wiki up, which at the time I was like,
try what?
A wiki up, and it's basically a teepee. It looks like a teepee, and or a tripod. You know, it's 2 in 1, and that's what we did. And we played around with the fire idea, where we wanted to go with the fire. We tried one kind of on the outside, like a real fireplace where like it wasn't heating, all the heat was going out. So we ended up making a vent out of the top of it that still blocked rain, and then we built our fire in the center. But dude, when I tell you, we didn't have sleeping bags for the first 10 days we were out there, and it was Alaska in the rainforest in October, and it was so cold. All we had was the clothes on our backs and 2 thin wool blankets that weren't even big enough to cover all of us. Like if you were on the end, half your body was kind of sticking out, and it was brutal, bro. I think I slept 16 hours total in a 10-day span. So 16 divided by 10, whatever that is.
Really?
Yeah. And the first night I didn't sleep at all. At night I would keep the fire going for the team. So I spent the first, it felt like 10 nights. I stayed up and stoked the fire for everybody. Like everybody could sleep for the most part. And it was, I'll never forget laying there the first night and like having a really half-ass shelter and just laying on there with 4 people I've never met in my whole entire life before. And we were like on top of each other. But I remember looking up, and it was a clear sky. And when it was clear out there, it was super windy and extra cold. But I remember looking up and never experiencing that kind of quiet before. I was like, you couldn't hear anything, but you could hear everything. It was nuts, dude. Like I could hear everybody's deep. I could hear their breaths. I could but just so quiet. Well, back home we say it was so quiet you could hear a mouse pissing on a cotton ball.
That is so random.
Hey, I can learn you some stuff if you want to learn some what are they called, slogans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was intense, very cold. Then we got 2 sleeping bags on day 10.
Yeah.
And everybody let me sleep in one first because I'd been staying up a lot, stoking the fires, and I got in that sleeping bag that first night.
Yeah.
out. Plus, we weren't eating hardly. We weren't
so
eating
tell
a
me
lot.
about because I know we see it on the show. You know, you guys were able to eat like squirrels, probably rarely. A lot of clams.
Our main source of food was, I think on day 2 or 3, I went and flipped a rock and found a little rock crab under there.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, there's crabs under these rocks, guys. And then so like we started flipping rocks, and we caught so many crabs and ate them, and that was our main source of food for a while. Then we also ate. We ate a big slug we found. Drake ate most of it. It was super gross. Sammy caught a mouse that we ate. Lipids, which is just like a mussel in the ocean. We ate, our first meal actually was a starfish that was this big, and none of us knew how to eat a starfish. Turns out you cut off all the limbs, you cook them, and then you eat the guts out of them, and it looks like baby poop. It's
Was
disgusting.
it good?
It's funny because they didn't taste bad. They gave me really bad heartburn, and it was that the texture was the grossest. Like it was like poop. It was like, and it was yellow. It was like puce yellow, and it was so gross. I mean, like we're out there for so long. There's so many hours. Like you didn't see that on the show, but that was one of the things we ate, and then it gave me heartburn. Because on the first 2 days I was out there, I was super sick. I was super sick. I was puking the first day we were out there. So in the show, you see me say, "Oh, I got a cramp in my gooch." Like it's this weird thing that happens to me when I gag. But it's in the show, and then at another part, you hear me say, "I think I just shit my pants," and I had actually just shit my pants, like full.
At some point, did you wash them or?
So I took them down to the water because we only had 2 pair of underwear basically the whole time. And that's it. So I took them down to the water and like I washed them off in the salt water and all this stuff because our freshwater source was like 400 yards away. Yeah. I wash them off and I hang them outside the shelter, and I wake up the next morning and I come out because the camera crew's gone at night. I walk out of the shelter the next morning and one of the camera guys is there already, and he's like getting a tight close up of my shitty underwear on a tree. Yeah, it was just like I just trusted a fart when I was sick and I shouldn't have. Hey, shit happens, but yeah, that was gross.
Oh, yeah, bro. How dangerous is it really out there? Like, how dangerous is it really? And I know it showed you guys saw a bear.
Yeah, that was another thing. It's super hard.
Is that real?
Yeah, it was a real bear. It was like 15 yards from me. I had a bow. I had an arrow knocked, but we have to abide by local fish and wildlife regulations. So it just depends on the seasons and what we can kill and can't kill, but that's about as far as I can go into that. I did, although, kill
but
a bunch
y'all wanted
of
to eat the bear?
Oh, that bear. I was like looking at the camera guy. I was like, can I shoot it? But I know I couldn't because it was like a first year kind of cub that got kicked. It was probably like 50, 60 pounds. But dude, like we were so starved at that point in time. I think that was, I don't know how long that was into it, but so starved. Like we needed the fat because the only red meat we had eaten at that time was this little mouse that Sammy had caught. And then I had shot, I think by day like 18, I had shot like 6 or 7 squirrels. And like, those were really nice to eat though. But it's crazy. They didn't show that in the show either. I mean, in the trailer, you can see me run, grab an arrow, and the arrow has a squirrel on the other end of it. But that was the only source of red meat we were out there. So like, I lost so much weight like immediately.
Yeah, I know you posted a picture, and I'll put it on this podcast of what you look like going into the show, shredded. Going out. And
I gained 10 pounds on top of that. So that was 75 hard right before I left. And then I gained 10 pounds on top of that frame. So it was actually 10 pounds heavier.
Wow.
So but I lost 10 pounds of fat plus all the muscle, that frame that you see there in that picture, all that muscle just gone. 173 to 143. I went a lot, 30 pounds.
173 to 1. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
How tall are you?
5'6".
5'6", 173, 140. Wow.
Yeah, I haven't weighed that much since I was a sophomore in high school, I think.
Wow.
It was rough. And I had to get IVs for the first week I was back because the cramps in my legs were so bad. So I was afraid I was going to, because I had rhabdo years ago from doing a bodybuilding show. I spent like 9 days in the hospital. So my legs started feeling like that again. And I was like, oh shit. So I was getting IVs at home. My stomach was still super shrunk and wasn't used to processed foods. I puked every day for 2 weeks when I got home. I was just overeating so much. My body wanted so much sugar and I was just like, bleh, bleh, for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, because once you're deprived like that, you just want to eat.
Yeah, and we had to do a refeeding diet for 3 days. Like they had to lay like we had to do.
It can be dangerous, right?
It can be very dangerous. Yeah, you can go to like shock and all kinds of stuff like that. And then I had neuropathy in my fingers and my toes so bad from being cold that I couldn't feel them for like a month after the show.
Holy shit!
It was crazy because you watch it and you're sitting at your house and you're like, I could do that. And like that's not hard. They should be doing that differently. And like, oh, like you're watching edited stuff and like you're not seeing like what you see on TV is barely scratching the surface. I mean, like of how the hardships and like that it is out there.
Okay. Yeah. I was getting my haircut today. And when I went in, someone else was sitting in the chair and I was telling him about you. I said, like, yeah, you won the whole damn show. And I was talking about the show, saying it's a survival show in Alaska. And I was explaining it to them. And I'm like, bro, there's absolutely no way. Like, I'm one of those people who watch them. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that shit. The dude in the chair, he's military. He's like, I could do it. So I don't know.
You know, you don't know unless you go do it.
Yeah,
That's all I can tell you is like, all I can tell you is like, be prepared for it to be the most mentally challenging thing that you've ever done in your life. Like mentally, way harder than physically. Like when I say it was extremely hard physically, it was, for me, it was horrible. For somebody like Drake or like the Mountain Man, like Brennan, like some of those guys that went in with a lot of fat to lose, those guys were fine, man. Yeah. So there's a note. If you ever want to go be on a survival show, go on what Drake calls the everything diet and eat everything that'll fit in your mouth, because like physically those guys were fine. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But like I would guess, I think I probably lost around 20 something, 21, 22 pounds the first 10 days. So my fat reserve gone.
Like that.
Very fast metabolism. Once my fat reserve was gone, it was like you just did the hardest workout of your whole entire life every single day at every moment. And you had to work constantly either getting firewood, water, or food, or you went without. And if you didn't read the tides right and you missed the tide going down, or if the tide was going down late, and like you didn't eat that day because you didn't collect crabs because the water's too high. So there's just so much going on that you don't see on the show, because the show's a great show. They make a show like there's drama, there's this, there's that. Yeah. They don't show us crying on each other's shoulders and telling ourselves our life stories while we're starving and we're hangry, and maybe we'll bicker a little bit, and then you see the bickering, but you don't see like a lot of times like we're hugging afterwards, we're telling each other we love each other. Like I'm still good friends with every single person that was out there. I even made friends with Bayer, who came and stole her stuff like immediately.
So that was my next question. Yeah, Alpha came over, stole your shit. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah.
They stole your pots.
Yeah, they stole our pots right in front of us, and we had some words. But before I went out on the show, I called JP Donnell, who's like Jocko's right-hand man. Was a Navy SEAL, was out there in Afghanistan, Iraq. I think it's where they were back in the day, back when it was bad. Super good guy, but I called him and I was like, hey, JP, I'm going to do this thing. I can't really tell you a whole lot about it, but it entails like teams and this and that and things that can happen. And he goes, I want to give you 2 pieces of advice that you can take with you for the rest of your life, basically, and everything that you do. He was like, 1, do not let anybody piss you off or make you mad for more than a couple minutes. He said, if you're mad at somebody and they piss you off, they then have control over you. They can then manipulate you because they're playing on your feelings. I was like, okay, and then the other piece of advice he told me, he's like, go out there with an I get to be here attitude. He's like, the whole time I was going through buds, JP's built different. Let me just start by saying that. But he was like, the whole time I was going through buds, he's like, I never thought about quitting one time. He's like, I went out there with an I get to be here attitude. Like, this is an honor to be here. Other people are sitting at home, and like that was our mantra for the whole time we were out there. Now, did that get really hard to kind of go by at the end? Very, because unlike JP, wanted to quit so bad, it was like towards the end, it was like a minute by minute thing. I was a battle in my head. But going back to the bio situation, we were really mad. Not a whole lot we could do about it. Walked off. I told him, I was like, hey, we're going to let God handle this. We're going to put it in God's hands. We're going to be fine, even though we didn't have a pot to boil water in anymore, which can be very dangerous in a survival situation, drinking water you're not familiar with. And within the hour, we kind of were going to walk over there. We met up with Trey, who's also from Texas too, and he just so happened to be bringing our stuff back. Mm-hmm. And it was like, hey, we're not playing like that. And then they voted him off like within the hour. So like literally everything happened like it should have happened. Like it like put it in God's hands and it was taken care of.
More of that manifestation.
Yeah. Yeah. Psalm 91. If anybody cares to go and read that, it's perfect for a survival situation. It's crazy. A lady my mom works with prayed over me before we went out there. And I even called her. After I got out, I couldn't tell her what happened or anything that went on. But I was like, that prayer took care of me. And it did. It really did, man.
Wow. I love that. What's it like to not really have a sense of time?
Oh, it sucks. You're going crazy because you just like don't know what time. I mean, you're like a caveman looking at the sun. And you're like, like you don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then the nights were so we're in Alaska. It's getting wintertime. So like every day we were there, the days got 4 minutes shorter. I think that's what Emily told us. Emily's extremely smart, by the way. One of the girls that was on our team, super smart. She even knew how to read the tides by where the moon was and everything. Like that was super helpful. Really? Yeah, super bright girl. But like towards the end, when it was just Drake and I out there, we were in the shelter for 15 hours a night. And I called it the nighttime scaries, dude. Like we were both missing our families so incredibly bad at this point in time. Like, and you're only sleeping maybe 4 hours of that. So like 11 hours, you're laying there, your stomach's in a knot, it's cramping. I had fever a lot towards the end. I don't know why, my body was just stressed. And you're like, you have nothing to do but think about home. I'd hear an airplane fly over and I'd just be like, oh, there's somebody up there. There's somebody up there in an airplane having a cocktail, eating pretzels, and I'm down here. They don't even know I'm laying out here on the ground. I'm starving. I'm crying. Like I'm like having the worst time ever. I tell people ask me if it was fun. I was like, yeah, it was fun for like 10 days. It sucked after that. But yeah, I forgot what we were talking about already.
No, I was just asking you about your sense of time.
Yeah. See, I'm sorry. I'm going off on rants. Dude.
Oh no, you're good, man. You're good. Yeah, I want to dive deeper into the mental aspect because we keep defaulting back to that. So you said it's just mentally, it's a lot tougher than even physically. Can you go deeper into why it's so mentally draining to be out there? I don't know if it has a lot to do with the starvation aspect, but I don't know like if you've ever done like a 4, 5, 6 days fast before. Not even close.
Or if you've ever been like 3 or 4% body fat. The clarity that you get in your mind when you're fasted or you're starving, and the only thing that I equate it to is like if we were starving like 1,000 years ago, your brain has to work that much harder to be like find a solution to like feed yourself. So the mental sharpness that you have, the mental acuity that you have just to do things and to think and like solve problems when you're fasted is insane. Your body starts to adjust around day 4 or 6. So you go from being like really hungry and like you're having these bad headaches and you're just like, oh, this sucks. And then like day 4, 5 or 6, like usually around that 72-hour range there, all of a sudden it's like clarity and a lot of the hunger goes away. Like you're still hungry, but it's just not like so intense where like you can't function. But the clarity, like with the clarity comes like very strong emotions, like intense emotions for like your loved ones, your family. You get this immense, like overwhelming sense of gratitude for everything that you have in your normal life, like sitting in a chair, eating with, like being able to wash your hands, take a shower, like eat with utensils. Like when I tell you everything is harder out there, like it is times 10. Everything's harder, and you have to do it no matter how tired you are. But the harder than all of it, like starving, being sick, being cold, missing my family was like tenfold worse than any of that. Like as soon as that seeped into your mind, like your family, your loved ones, you started thinking about it. Like you couldn't stop thinking about it for a while until like you had a conversation with somebody, and it just ate at you. It's so bad to the point like Drake came up to me 2 weeks in, and Drake has 2 children and 2 adopted children. He adopted his niece and his nephew from his brother who had a drug problem.
Wow.
So, and they were going through the adoption process while he was out there. And never been away from his kids that long, you know, like with travel, the hotel, like all this stuff, like it's been weeks, dude, since we've talked to our families. And he comes up to me one day, like where everything's going good, we're rocking along, like we're starting to talk about that we're missing our family and stuff like that. But in reality, like I was hurting really bad internally. And he comes to me, taps me on my shoulder, he's like, I'm going home. And I was like, what? I was like, dude, you can't go home. He's like, I can't take it. He's like, I miss my kids too bad. He's like, I can't take it. He's like, I miss my wife. I miss my kids. He's like, I've never been away from him. He's like, I'm afraid my daughter's going to forget. So I was like 2 years old at the time. He's like, I'm afraid my daughter's going to forget my face. And like, you start thinking crazy stuff like this. Wow. So I was like, so we went inside the shelter. We sat down and I looked at him and I was like, dude, I know it's hard to change a man's mind after he's made a decision. Cause he was like, I'm doing it. I'm going home. I'm not doing this anymore. And I was like, I understand. I was like, I know how bad I'm missing my family right now and how bad it's hurting me. Mm-hmm. And I don't have kids. So I can't, like, I understand, but I don't understand. And I understand that you already made your mind up and it's gonna be hard to change your mind, but I don't want you to make a decision right now off of like how you're feeling that you're gonna regret for the rest of your life. Silent. Just sat here. And he looked up and he goes, okay, I'm going to stay. I'll stay. He's like, as long as you stay here, I'm going to stay here. I was like, all right, let's do this. And it was just like somebody turned on a light. But like, you had to have each other's back out there like that. And like, no matter how it looks on film and how we got along very well. We all loved each other very much. And it was very mentally straining. Yeah. Like you think about I thought about my grandparents a lot that passed away in 2018. Like that was a big part of me staying out there actually, was wanting to kind of make them proud. But it's just a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah. I can only imagine, man.
Yeah.
You're walking me through it. And I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. I've never starved like that before. You know, I've never been that cold and
that long without a phone.
That long without a phone and being able to end it all with shooting a flare gun.
And not know how long you're going to be out there.
And not exactly.
Bro, that's agonizing. It's agonizing, especially when you go see the other team and they look like they're thriving and they have more resources than you. Because where we were on the side of the bay, like I'll argue it all day long, and they'll even tell like Delta will be like, dude, y'all got screwed where y'all were at. Like it was dark. We had a mountain behind us. So like after 10 a.m., it just seemed like it was dark on our side because we were shaded. And you'd look over the shore, like look across the bay, sunlight. Then we went over there and they had all this like scurvy grass they were eating. They had so much more food.
Sitting on the other side of
the bay where they were located. Yeah, because we finally got a dinghy and we were able to go over there and then to see how well they were doing and then like see how like bad we were struggling. Yeah. And then not know how long you're going to be out there and they're like and like you don't know if there's going to be a final challenge. It's a game. They can do whatever they want to. So we didn't know. Like we didn't know when this thing was ending.
Yeah.
That was mentally just like naked and afraid and stuff like that. You're like, hey, 3 weeks, 21 days, you get to live out here. At least you know when you're going home. You know what I mean? Like we're just out there just like,
yeah.
Let's just do it another day, minute by minute.
Outlast.
Yeah.
I remember you you had told me at the premiere that they had a guy on the other side, the Mountain Man. Is it the Mountain
Brendan,
Man?
yeah.
Yeah, he said he could have lived out there for another couple months.
Shout out to Brendan. Like this guy is cool, man. He's married to like a Native American woman. I don't know if she's full or not, but like they live around or on a reservation somewhere in Idaho. He's a full-time trapper. He basically is in the woods all the time, and that's all he does for his job. And like they called him like Joseph. He called him Joseph with his accent. Like I think that's the only way that I can hear Joseph's name now. But he's from Louisiana. Those two hit it off real well. But dude, he was like, I want to be out here till December. And I was like, fuck that. Not me, man. Like I can't, like I was, my body was shutting down. After about 3 weeks, my body was like done. After 2 weeks, my body was done. It was just, I was just doing it after that. But like, he was thriving, you know, he went out there with a lot of extra weight to burn and like, he shot a porcupine, cleaned the porcupine, and like they found this big fish. They were eating more. They had a lot more squirrels, and like so much respect for that guy. And he's got a heart of gold too, just a good person. Like most of the people out there were just good, plain old good human beings. And I'm like blessed to have gotten to share that experience with him.
Yeah, that's awesome. So wait, at the end, it was Bravo and Alpha?
Bravo and Delta.
Delta. Okay. I really liked Delta, bro.
Yeah, they painted them to look like angels, which they are. Like, you know what I mean? Like they are. But they made us look like some real assholes, man. Like very one-dimensional. And like,
yeah. I mean, y'all look like frat boy assholes.
We do. You know what I mean? Like they're like, we just get this like let's make these Texas boys look like some bros. And like, which we like.
Listen, I'll say something just from my perspective, because I know you.
Yeah.
I know what kind of a good dude you are. So just whatever I see on the show, I come from the background of video.
Right.
So I know what you can do.
Yeah.
You know, and we also shot a
follow docuseries
together. So we know what we could do.
Yeah.
You know you could do. So it's,
but a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And they take it for what it is, which is really good at it. It's like, it's really good. You know what I mean? Like it keeps people engaged, and everybody talking about all this stuff that's going on online is just fueling the fire under it.
Yeah. So I know you I just know that at the end of the day, the people you care about, you have their back.
1,000%. Dude, I will do anything for a stranger. I honestly, I was worried that I was gonna look like I was just gonna look like a crybaby on TV, because like, dude, I cried I think every day that I was out there, the last 5 days I was out there, I cried every single day. Because, you know, we're sitting down on these interviews, and, you know, we're emotional, and we're going through everything. We sit down to do an interview out in the woods, and you're emotional. And like, for instance, after the boat scene, like after I went and got the boat, they sat down and they were like, so what do you think your grandparents would think of this?
They know how to tap your
dude, I'm just like bawling and crying. And I was like, before I went out there, my dad was like, you better not be crying on camera, which, dude, I'm a softie. Like, I'm like on my phone at night crying, watching strangers. And like that's my full-time hobby, is like crying at strangers online. So like, it doesn't take much to make me cry. I'm just soft-hearted. And I was like, okay, they're going to make me look like a softie. Nope. Asshole. This guy's a dick.
They didn't show much crying.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
I didn't know. Yeah, you're right. They didn't.
No, I did a lot of it though. Ugly crying.
Wow.
Kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not much of a crier, but it'd be interesting. I like
to cry.
I try to put myself in your position. I'm like, I don't know how much I would cry.
You go in your closet tonight and just let a real good one out.
It's hard for me to do it.
Man, it's probably a wall you have built up from childhood stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a protective wall, 100%.
Yeah. And that's another thing while you're out there, while you're that emotional and stuff like that, you better get ready, because you're about to deal with your shit. Really deal with your shit. You don't have a phone to keep, like, we don't have phones to keep our subconscious like busy, like when we're feeling uncomfortable with ourselves. Just the same way that people drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, you have to just deal with it. It's just raw.
Yeah, I actually want to dive into that. So what I've noticed about myself is I think I'm addicted to noise.
Yeah.
So I'm always listening to a podcast or music, or I have something downloading information into my head at some point, whether I'm literally on my computer editing, posting something, consuming. So you're right. We don't I'm very guilty of this. I don't even get a chance to really sit with a lot of things unless I'm intentional about it.
Yep.
So the fact that you're able to do that, what did you learn about yourself?
While I was out there, like, I kept, like, me and Drake even said, I was like, dude, I don't even know who the person was before I came out here. It was the trippiest thing. It was like I just did like a hardcore psychedelic while I was out there. You just learn so much. I literally was like, first of all, it felt like we were there for a full year. Yeah. Like your sense of time and like our time, how fast it goes by, like in real world, like I woke up this morning, dude, it's night already. Like here we are in the evening. And I'm like, boom. Out there, the days are long. You're up through the night. It's long. You're feeling everything around you. Like you're feeling all the emotions. Like you have nothing to keep your brain busy. So it's just like, you learn so much about yourself because you don't have anything to change your state of consciousness. Same thing that I explained with people. Like, I haven't drank in 9 months now because I realized, and I don't plan on quitting forever. I just set a goal not to drink this year and then special occasions after that. But I realized that anytime that I wanted to change my state of consciousness, I was grabbing for nicotine. I was grabbing for alcohol instead of sitting in that feeling. And like, and it's still with the nicotine, like dip or Zins and stuff like that. Like, I'm still kind of trying to wean off of that. But like, the alcohol was a big thing for me. Is like trying to change. If you really look at the times that you drink alcohol, either you just got excited or either you're sad, especially when you're sad or you're anxious. You want to change your state of consciousness so you reach for that thing that's gonna make you feel different. And I think once people realize that that's what they're doing, instead of sitting in that emotion, that they're like, they can be very more aware of kind of like, maybe I don't need that. Because if you sit in it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's gone. But if you got it, like, I don't know, that's a whole nother.
You said
if
you sit in the emotion for 5-10 minutes, it's on. What do you mean it's on?
When you sit in the emotion, if you sit in it for, it's gone, not on.
Oh, I thought you said on.
Gone.
Okay. You said it's
like that
it's
feeling.
gone,
That
so
feeling will go
you allow
away.
yourself to feel it, and then it goes away.
Yep. And we do that by grabbing our phones. Here's another thing I'm addicted to. Like if I'm like, just start paying attention. You know what I mean? And like grabbing. Like when you grab your phone, a lot of times like you're mindlessly scrolling, and I'm very guilty of it. I mean, it's one day at a time, baby. We're just working on ourselves. But I think that that we don't. Today we have so many distractions that we don't really get to sit with ourselves a lot. And that's why it's also important to kind of work on yourself in the morning, have that 10 minutes of manifestation quiet time to lay out that plan. But we have so many distractions and so much dopamine all the time that we don't ever just sit in our feelings. Yeah.
So you got a chance to do that out there.
Every day.
You're forced to do it. Since you've been back, have you relapsed back into?
Oh, 1,000%. I'm trying, like Jim Carrey said, he's like, I figured it out. This manifestations, and like, you can have anything you want. And I felt this way. And like, ever since that day, I've been trying to get back there. Like, that's what it's like, man. Like, literally 2 days ago, like, I'm going on a 9-day elk hunt with some of my best friends tomorrow, actually. And it's going to be a little taste of that. It's going to be kind of good. But like, I'm to the point where I'm like, I might go somewhere for a week in the woods by myself and take a vow of silence and not eat anything for 7 days because I want to get back to that clarity. I want to get back to that like, I just want to get back to that place mentally and spiritually. Like my connection with God, especially out there, was bar none. Yeah. And like, I've been slipping up, and I keep following myself, like apologizing to God. Like, I'm so sorry that you did all this stuff for me, and I'm like drifting away from you. But like, ebbs and flows, man. That's just life. And
you know what, man? This is gonna be a real big plug to my boy Preston.
Love that guy.
Yeah, same. Just knowing what you want to do, and you said you want to get back to that. Mm-hmm. So he has something called the Bridge Experience, and just after doing 2 podcasts with him and getting to know him and his wife and everything, they're the real deal. They get it, and they know how to get you to that place. So they have something called the Bridge Experience that they've cultivated, and basically what it is, it's somatic work.
Breath work, right? Breath and somatic work.
Somatic work.
Yes, I've heard of it.
So I would highly suggest, and I can connect y'all talking to them about their Bridge Experience. I actually haven't done it yet, but because
let's do it together.
The next one's in October.
Okay.
I won't be able to make that because I'm already busy those days. Yeah, because they have one in Austin, but they also have one in Australia, and I was going to try to make Australia.
I'm down to do that too.
I was trying to make Australia, but I'll see when they're doing the next one, and then let's do it together. Cool. 100%. So down. Like, I am so down to do it because I've seen what they've been able to access in their minds and their bodies and Preston's writing a book called Spiritual Millionaire, and they figure something out.
Just cracked the code.
They figure something out. And
because if you could do it without spending 30 days in the woods crying and starving, that's probably better.
Yeah, Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to skin a cat, right?
Yeah. Hey, so you know a few too.
Yeah. I know that one.
But back to Preston, though, I want to give you a shout out too, dude, because I went to, on the Preston subject, I went to a seminar a few months ago and had no idea who Preston was. He comes in here, talks, and just blows me out of my seat. I talked to him, he answers some questions, and I'm just like, I told him, what I told him was, man, when I was younger, I was like, I was just bleeding. I was like, I'm a very positive person. So, but I was like, when I was younger, like 16 to like 21-ish, before like real life shit hit me, I was like, dude, I was bleeding with positivity. Like I was just overflowing, spilling with it, like just gushing out of me. Like I just felt like I wanted to give it to everybody. And I did. I gave it to everybody. Just so much positivity. And I was like, dude, I feel like the stress of life and bills and the loss of very close loved ones and stuff like that has just like stolen my inner child. And I've just been trying to get back to that place. And I was like, I'm still very happy, very thankful, very positive. But I was like, I want to get back to that place. And he hit me with something like, he's like, do you think, you want to help people, right? I was like, yeah. I was like, that's all I want to help people. Like, I want to do what you're doing, basically. He was like, how could you have done that and related to people without going through any struggle yourself, going through any hardship? He was like, you had to go through that to grow through that, to be able to help other people. I started sobbing. I started crying. I got emotional. I was like, okay, all this is for a reason. Like, you know what I mean? And like, same thing. I've been trying to get back to that place. I'm like, it's coming. But like, that's what I feel like our purpose as human beings here should be, is like helping others. 100%. And I know everybody that watched the show and like everything that went down is probably like, that guy didn't help anybody. But
yeah.
I really, and then he invited me to his house to watch UFC fights after that. And like, such an awesome guy. I just would love to spend more time with that guy too. So
yeah, I'll definitely get you connected, man. And just, yeah, Preston's amazing. And then his whole circle of people that he surrounds himself with, him and his wife, like anyone I've met through him has been an amazing person in their own right. So
that's what I mean. Like Preston's got 10 years on us or so like that. I was like, I feel like we're doing a pretty good job of kind of building that. And like we're very fortunate to live where we live right now and have the people that we have in our circle.
100%.
And it's continuing to grow.
I like to think of our squad as we're up next.
Yeah.
You know,
paying our dues.
Yeah, exactly.
We went through the shit eating phase, as I call it.
100%. 100%. But let's go back to, because I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the show. So what's up with you and Bree?
I knew it was coming. So on the show, Bree leaves her team. She walks 8 miles to our team, and we're like, absolutely not. We had just had a conversation. We were like, earlier that day or the day before, we're like, no fifth person. We don't want a fifth person.
Okay. How many days in is this?
Ooh.
She walks over.
I don't know, dude.
Oh yeah,
I seriously,
time.
I have no idea. I don't know what day this was, but she comes over, like, absolutely not. But hey, stay the night. So, you know, it was getting dark. Like, stay with us. Wanted to like just stay with us. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna just ship her off at night. Because anyway, so she stays with us. We're up all night. You know what I mean? Like, we're just sitting around a fire. We're barely sleeping, and like we're talking about our life stories. You know, we talked about. It's crazy how, like, I tell people, like, if you want to get close to a stranger, just go sit down the woods with them and have to survive with them for a week, because, like, you'll be best friends or you'll hate each other. And, like, we just started telling our life stories, like, the trauma that we went through as a kid, like, what happened to us, like, and we connected over that. And she ended up being cool as shit, really nice. And then that evening, Alpha had flared out a second flare, which means now that they flared out a second flare, if one more person flares out, they have to come to our team. They have to go to another team. Like, that team's done. And the sooner that other teams are off the game board, the sooner you get to go home. Mm-hmm. So we were like, well, if Bree goes over there, and dude, she was an asset. No matter how she looked on TV or like what they made her look like, Bree's a very hard worker. She knew how to do a bunch of shit. She was never like just sitting around doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And we were like, why would we send an asset over there that's going to be going against us when we could bring her on now? And I said it even the next day. you know, brain fart.
So it wasn't the cuddles.
Wasn't the cuddles. Wasn't the cuddles. Sorry, guys. I know
Just
everybody
trying to
wanted
get
to be.
that
Dude, the amount of messages that I got about that, even from my bros. Oh, what happened, man? Did you and Bree do something? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, man, no. But it's funny because like with the camera and the editing, like they
like,
catch you smiling. They're like, hey, you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, I think that even at when it hit at night before y'all went to sleep, it was like, so yeah, who's big spoon, little spoon?
Yeah,
you know?
like, and then she's like, that's called a 5-some or a 3-some or something like that, because we were joking around, and like I knew as soon as Bree said that while we were out there, I was like, they're putting that on the show, and they did put that on the show, and it was just it's funny, man. They did a really good job. They really did. No matter how I feel about how, like I said, it's my ego that took a hit just seeing like how I was portrayed on the show. They made a good show.
Yeah,
and yeah, I can't complain. It's like I said, it's top 10 on Netflix. Still 2 weeks now. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm not really the type of person that watches survival shows, and it was
right.
great.
Oh yeah, and if you're not the type of person that watches survival, this is completely different. This isn't just like survival. Like there's especially if you're into the drama of reality TV.
Yeah,
this is for you. If you want a little bit of change of scenery, like. Yeah. Like if you really want to get in some deep drama, go watch season 1. I don't know if you've seen season 1 yet.
Season 1, no.
Dude.
Really?
Dude, you want to talk about some you know what? I don't want to say anything just because I've been catching heat, but I'm like,
oh, because I might have to.
There's some rough characters in season 1, man. Like there's some stuff going on in that one. Like that'll just make it'll have you so mad sitting there watching it, you just want to jump to the TV screen. So much, but like. Yeah. Speaking
of being mad, just you said that there's you're kind of I saw an article that said that did villains really win this reality show?
See, I didn't even see that.
I saw an article.
Thanks, asshole.
Well, how do you feel about this hate?
Dude, it's rough because like I said, like, you know, like I have always treated people right. I've always done right by people, and I've never had anybody really hate me like this, like to this extent to where like I have strangers, and I don't like some of the best people, like some of the most nicest people on the show are catching hate too. Like there's just, you can't please everybody. And it's way more, I will say first of all, it's way more love than it is hate, but like the hate that I'm getting is like, I'm not used to it. And I was like, I'm going to be fine. I've got thick skin, blah, 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 which I do. But I've been so tired every night, like just because I'm mentally exhausted and I try to get back to every single person. And like one day I spent 6 hours straight replying back to people and didn't get caught up. But I try to get back to every, so I'm mentally drained at the end of the night. I've been sleeping fine, but like as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'll open my phone or something like that, which is a bad idea anyway. And I'll have like really bad anxiety in the morning because I'm like, these people don't like me. Like they think I'm a bad person. And like, again, it's just like your ego. It's like stabbing at your ego, which again, I think is a whole growing moment for me, regardless of how I feel about myself and who I know I am as a person. Mm-hmm. But it's tough, dude, because like, I can't tell people, I can't tell people like everything that went on. I don't want to, like, I can't ruin the TV show. Like it goes, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like I can't just go do a tell all and be like, this is what happened. And like they made a good TV show. It's reality TV. And I just tell people that I'm like, hey, you're watching TV that's edited. And some people respond so kindly and and I've been so nice to everybody when they throw hate toward me, and I'll even private message them and I'm like, hey, just remember, like, hey, you're watching TV. I was like, and I'm like, I respect you and I respect like that you think this of me, but just I want you to have an open mind and just know that like me and everybody are still friends, if that tells you anything at all. Like we're really good friends still. Mm-hmm. I just want you to have an open mind and remember that you're watching TV. Some people respond, they're like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I deleted my comments. She was like, I shouldn't have done that. And they have an open mind about it. They can think for themselves. And then you have the people that are just so like hate you, mm-hmm. that no matter what you say, how nice you are to them, they're like, I hope you go die. Like Tina, dude, listen to this. Tina from Delta got a message from somebody because in the show, like it like shows her slowing their team down and then we win and it looks, you know, like it's Tina's fault.
Yeah. I was so sad for her.
Dude, her mom has dementia and like she wants to pay for her mom to like be able to keep her mom at home. Somebody messaged her. This is how terrible some of these people are online. And like, there's just bad people out there everywhere. And it's all over the world. But somebody messaged her and said, you lost it for your whole team. Like, you suck. And I'm glad your mom has dementia. Bro, when you start messing with family like that, like I keep looking at the picture that I posted of my grandpa and I'm like, if somebody like, I'm very calm, like I can be very cool headed, but I also have like I flip a switch too. Yeah. Just the older I get, the easier it is to manage all that stuff. But like, I'm just waiting for somebody to say something about my grandparents or something like that. And like, I'm just going to like, I'm not going to be able to take it.
Don't let them listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
You just,
here we go.
Giving them the ammo.
Here we go. But I'll prepare myself. You know what I mean? I've tried to prepare myself because that thought crossed my mind the other day and I got like irate thinking about it. Like somebody talking about them in a certain way or something like that. But now that I had that moment, I think that I'll handle it a lot better. And I know I will. But dude, when you like that's scum down here, dude. Like talking about somebody's mom that's like hurting, like in a bad situation. Like,
you know who Robert Greene is?
No, I don't.
He wrote the 48 Laws of Power. Have you heard of the book?
I have.
Okay, so I was listening to a podcast he was doing with Chris Williamson, and he said something very interesting. By the way, Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power. A lot of people know what it is.
I've heard of it.
Timeless book, one of the best books of all time. He said that a lot because he studies societies over time, over history, and the ancient Romans had said that stupid people have done a lot more harm than actual evil people over time. And the stupid people are people who they think that they know everything. Like they think you cannot convince them otherwise.
Right.
That this is this. They have that in their mind. It's downloaded in there and it's going to stay. And there's just going to be those people.
It's ignorance. Like,
we said stupid people.
I think there's a difference between dumb. I think it's okay to be dumb. I think it's okay to be uneducated. It's okay to be uneducated because like sometimes it's not your fault. But for someone to be ignorant, I guess it's kind of the same thing. But like, dude, I hate ignorance, man. I hate it. And a lot of people are just ignorant.
Yeah, bro. Some of the wisest people I know are the first to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or be curious enough to ask questions before they formulate an opinion.
And
so
I like
just saying this, and this is just a tip because when as you are getting this notoriety, I'm just in one instance I'm like, you get to see some of the shit. I mean, I've never gotten the hate you've gotten.
Yeah,
not yet. Eventually, it'll probably come.
You'll say something eventually.
Eventually, I already know. They come for everybody. But I have gotten some, and when you just realize that there are just certain people out there that, I hate to put it bluntly, stupid people, bro. You almost have to feel bad for them because they cannot change.
Have to. And I told somebody, I'm like, they were calling me names and all this stuff and telling me this and that. And I was like, you're the one that went and Googled my name, found my Instagram account, went in my post and like commented multiple things that were just nasty. It's like, you're the one spewing hate towards somebody that you don't even know. I was like, whatever you're going through, I hope you figure it out. And that's what I left it at. And that stuff pisses people off so bad.
100%.
And kind of back to what you were saying about some of the smartest people are the first ones to ask questions. One of the best kind of quotes that I've heard, and I'm going to butcher it, but was, every man is your master at something. Meaning, you can learn something from everybody. Like, even like, say you were the CEO of a company, the janitor could teach you how to do something that he knows that you don't know how to do, vice versa. So I like to keep keep that in mind too a lot of times.
Yeah.
That everyone is your master in something.
Okay. So even you're saying even when people are dropping negative comments?
No, I should not have put those two together at all. But I'm sure, you know what I mean? Like even those people have something that they know
what
that
you can learn from them? Empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy.
And they could learn that from you too if you respond nicely. So I kill them with kindness, dude.
Yeah.
I will kill him with kindness, and I won't go too deep into won't go too deep into explaining myself. I don't feel like I need to really explain myself, but kind of tell them the situation. And if I get another long, lengthy message about how shitty I am as a person and like just a bunch of ignorant stuff without them even recognizing what I just said, then I'm just like, I just won't respond. Like, I gave you the time of day, like, wait to have a conversation, but you don't want to have a conversation.
Yeah. It's very noble of you to actually go and respond to as many comments as you can. It's not something, like, I feel you when you say you got anxiety from comments. I try to respond, bro. I can't.
No, you can't. You can't to some point in time. And I've said that, but I was like, as long as I can keep a handle on this, which I'm about to leave for 9 days, and I'm not going to really be looking at my phone. It's done after that. But like, I have spent so much time because like, it's cool, man. Like, I want to talk to these people, especially like when people are like, "Hey, I'm messaging you from France or Japan or the Netherlands," and all. Like, that's so cool, dude. Like, I can't like. Even some of them, I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to travel there next year. Like, I would love to link up." Like, I just want to meet people, hang out. But like, I love cultures and stuff like that. But like, for me, when somebody that I would see on TV or somebody that I was like, if they're taking the time to reach out to me and congratulate me or to tell me they love the show, if I can sit there and respond to them, I'm going to do it, dude. Because like, who am I to like, who am I to like not do that? Like, and I generally enjoy, they're pushing positivity in my life. I'm going to put it right back into theirs if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. How many of those conversations do you keep going though? That's the tricky part.
I've gotten really good. I've gotten really, really good at like, it's almost like you asking me questions right now and you doing this podcast. I've gotten really good at navigating the conversation to where like, this is where it's ending or like I'm an out. Like say you were like, "Hey, Sacred here from Australia. I really liked your show. It was so great." And it's a longer, lengthier message. I'll touch base on what they said in there and acknowledge what they said in there, thank them, and then I'll finish that with like thank you so much for the support, sending love from Texas, like heart or something like that. And that kind of just puts a stamp on like that's the end of the conversation. Yeah,
100%.
That helps.
Yeah, 100%. You brought up. Wait, did you bring up Tanya?
I did not bring up Tanya or Trey.
Oh yeah, you didn't bring up Tanya.
A little bit of Trey.
Yeah. Bro. Trey was dope.
Trey is dope.
Yeah, Trey was. Yeah, Trey's one of my favorite.
He was
people.
at my house last night.
Yeah,
Stop by.
Tell us more about Trey. Tell us something that people don't know from the show.
Oh man, there's so much about Trey. So like, Trey lives in a van full time, and he installs glass on like skyscrapers and stuff like that. But he's also does like the downhill longboarding, like with the long skinny helmets, and like flies down like 45 to 60 mile an hour down hills, around corners and stuff like that. Does all that crazy kind of stuff.
Trey does that?
Yes, dude. He's such a nice guy, like super sweethearted guy. He travels around in his van. He bought a van for $400 or $500 in Maryland the other day. Drove it all the way to Texas with his 3 dogs. Wild.
Wow.
But like he's such a good guy, and I don't know. I don't know. Like he's such an interesting guy. Like last night I was like, "Hey man, you want to crash on the couch here?" And he was like, "No, bro." He's like, I'm gonna go fish tonight. And like, he's like, "I'm gonna go fish tonight, and then I'm gonna wake up at daylight and go do this or do that." Like he is a true like nomad. Like there's not a lot of he's a dying breed basically. Like he's just so interesting, and he loves it, dude. And he's just like, he goes with the wind. And I'm like, "Well, what do you plan on doing?" He's like, "I might go to Tennessee in a couple days, but I don't know." It's just going wherever, man. And like I really hope that with the show coming out that like he gets enough exposure and can get his YouTube channel going and like his social media going, that like he can do this full time because he deserves it. And he's such an interesting, like nice guy. And like
so that is that his goal at this point, to get the YouTube going? Yeah,
kind of get the YouTube going. So like if you want to, can I give his Instagram?
Yeah, 100%. So, plug him.
I'll plug you up real quick, Trey.
Yeah, plug him.
So Trey's Instagram is Mr.afro_. INDO32.
Okay.
But he goes by Trey, TRE.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Super dope, dude.
And his relationship with Tanya too, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So yeah, what's up with him and Tanya? I mean, so well, first off, let me just say I like them too because I just love how they just really, really had each other's back.
It's like a mom and son kind of deal. That was super emotional to watch that whole thing. And I'm so proud of Tanya too, because like Tanya was picked last. She was like, I guess Tanya was the oldest lady on the game board. Mm-hmm. And dude, it was like watching the whole pick me section, like where we're picking our teams. It reminded me of like being in junior high or elementary and like somebody's picking teams, like somebody always has to be last. Like I hate it, dude. But it's
a game.
It's a game. It is what it is. But them two together, their relationship that they had was awesome. And like, I'm also like super proud of her, dude. Like she went out like a G, like, you know what I mean? Like she stayed there until she physically could not go anymore. Yeah. And Trey being by her side and that whole thing with them, and then him going home with her, and like them having to, I think they ended up in the hospital together because Trey had something going on too, I think. Am I correct? Maybe he just rode with her to the hospital. I can't remember. But they still stay in touch. Like he's gonna bring her down here. So she wanted to. She's never ridden in a helicopter before.
Okay.
So Trey was talking to me about that because we hung out all last week because he's from Pflugerville, like right up the road, or that's where he kind of lives. That's where his home base is. His like sister and family.
Had no idea.
Yeah, it's crazy, crazy. And
hey, Texas makes the best.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
People are gonna hate that.
Why?
Because we were so hardcore. Like even when we won.
I'm from Miami, bro.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, but my mom's from Texas.
Okay,
so I got the best of both worlds.
We'll claim you.
Yeah.
No, but she really wanted to ride in that helicopter at the end, and that was Drake's first helicopter too ride. And I told Trey, I was like, dude, tell her to come down here. I'll give her a helicopter ride whenever she wants to. My buddy Luke Rizzo owns Austin Heli Tours here, mm-hmm. Austin Heli Tours. Mm-hmm. And I fly for him sometime, and I was like, dude, bring her down here. I would love to take both y'all up over Austin. Yeah. So get her down here and do that too. Like my plan is, you know, like we're portrayed a certain way in the show, and like the show's a certain way. My plan is to visit everybody, and I've already done one with Bree, Emily, and Trey now, and make fun of ourselves and make kind of skits of the show. Mm-hmm. It's been so much fun. Yeah. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I saw the one you did with Bree.
Yeah, but have her come down here too.
Yeah, she what was it? Yeah, she knew how to use a certain type of bow. I don't know anything about any of this stuff.
So she grew up as a compound bow hunter. Like she's compound bow hunted the whole time, and which is just has cams and everything. It's got a like a when you draw it back as like a break. Yeah. Where I don't know. Anyway, I'm not explaining it right, but anyway, she had just bought a recurve bow 2 weeks before, and it was already put together and everything like that. So when we get out into Alaska, all of our recurve bows are like just like pieces of them. We have to put them together, string them up, and she's like, I don't know how to do that. And her teammates are like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I've never put one together before, which was valid. She didn't know she was gonna have to put it together. So we made a whole joke about that. Yeah. And like, I'm like, you're useless. I was like, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, it's good to be able to make fun of yourself, you know.
You have to, you know what I mean? Yeah. Especially, I think it shows the people that are really hating on you too, that like,
you're human.
You're human. Yeah. And like, dude, my favorite thing, like I call it the Slim Shady effect, where like I make fun of myself before anybody else can do it, because then they don't have any ammunition against me.
Ah, so smart.
Yeah, like I got beat up really bad one time, like in 2016 or 2017. I got the shit beat out of me. Bad. And I hopped on Snapchat. It was back when I was living back home, and we would get in these little scraps. Nobody would ever pull a gun or knife or anything like that. We just scrapped every now and then. And I was doing well for a while, and then I got what I had coming to me. It was very humbling. It was nice. Yeah. It was one of those moments, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I hopped on Snapchat the next morning, where I knew everybody had me and everything like that. And I hopped on there, and I was like, man, I don't know what them boys in Yoakum, or I don't know what they're eating or what they're feeding them boys in Yoakum, Texas, but I got the shit beat out of me. I was like, and like my eyes are swollen shut, and like my head's all, I look like an alien, dude. And everybody thought it was hilarious that I did that to myself, and it helped me kind of get through the embarrassment of getting the shit beat out of me too. And it was like, I don't know, I call it the Slim Shady effect. I love it.
That's actually so good. I'm gonna hold on to that.
Yeah,
I don't know when I'll ever need it, but
Well, I mean, like, if everybody's like, if you ever do something real dumb, like, dude, we're in the public, you know, like we're on film, and like eventually something's gonna happen to where like you're not gonna be proud of it, or you wish you wouldn't have done that thing, or you might have embarrassed yourself or something like that. Like, for instance, I shit my fucking pants on Netflix, and I'm here talking about it. Like I don't care, like, you know, stuff like that. Like, if I can laugh at myself, then I don't care if you're laughing with me or 100%. At me, whatever it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even talking more about being in the public eye, and eventually you're gonna trip up.
We're human, dude. We're human.
Yeah, it's just so crazy how quick a narrative can go.
Very quick.
Around the world that's not even true.
1,000%, dude. Like, look at
it
celebrities.
It does. It scares me to a point, but like there's at the end of the day, for me personally, I know there's and I really do hope this ages well. And it should, but I've seen some people come out where something's happened and there's been a lie has gone around the world before the truth comes out, and they've had to make some type of apology video knowing that they didn't do said shit.
Ooh.
Bro, that's why I said I hope this ages well, because honestly, bro, like I got too much pride to apologize for something that I stand for.
Dude, I'm struggling hard right now with some of the stuff that it looks like I did.
Yeah.
That I'm struggling so hard. Like, my ego is struggling with not being just like, nah, this is what happened, and this is how it happened, and blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
That's hard. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of in that situation right now where I'm like taking all this heat, and I can't even defend myself, kind of, but it is what it is, man. I'm going to roll with it. And, you know, in a few weeks from now, a few months from now, nobody's going to remember it happened.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not even point of me talking about it. Like, it's really not. I'll just have to swallow that, eat that, and let it be.
Yeah, from what I actually realized also, whenever it does get super viral and people are giving their 2 cents and going in your DMs, it's most of the time it's not your people.
Right.
It is somebody who's gotten a piece of the story and decided to comment on it. But it's not the people that are actually invested in you. You get what I'm saying?
That's what my family keeps telling me too. Like my friends, they're like, because I was with my family when I watched the whole show, the finale and all that stuff. And dude, when I watched like episode 7 with like the way it kind of looked with Sammy going down and like towards the end, my heart shattered, dude. It like hit just rock bottom, and I was like it hurt. It hurt watching it. And I was like, no, because and I had anxiety the night before, like, because I'd watched the first 6 and just like seeing what was put in there, what wasn't put in there, this and that, and it was fine. It wasn't bad, but I was like, then I had anxiety. I'm like, because then your brain is just like, what is this going to look like? Am I going to look like this? Am I going to look like this? Because like, what I tell people too, I'm like, you try going somewhere and having a camera and audio on you for a whole month, and then being able to do whatever they want to do with it. You're trying to tell me they couldn't? They you're a saint. You can be a saint for a whole month, and like you're hungry, you're tired, you're hangry, and you're with a bunch of strangers. I was like, of course we have words every now and then. Of course we get angry with each other. Like, it's just gonna happen. So it's just, but like I said, you're judging it from your couch and you're like sitting on your high horse. But yeah, like I'm sorry, I just went way off course. My family was like, Drew, the people that know you know you and they love you.
100%.
So don't worry about it. I was like,
you gotta go through the ebbs and flows and trials and tribulations. And exactly, you gotta go through the growing pains and understand how to navigate this.
Yep.
But I think you're equipped to do it. And the thing that you have is you have a really good support system. Dude,
when I tell you I have the best support system, I mean, like, that's another thing I cried over, my support system, dude. Like, the amount of after, like now that this came out that I won and everything like that, people are just like, dude, if I know anybody, it was you. It was you. Like, the amount of support that I got, especially like from just my close family that knew that I was going out there. Mm-hmm. They were like, never doubted you. And like that for me for them to have that kind of belief in me, man, just
Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay, tell me about the dynamic between you, Drake, and Emily before Bree got there, because she definitely seemed like she was hungry, like she wanted to have another female there, and me
For
just
sure.
knowing you and just how you like to crack jokes.
Yep.
Just tell me more about that.
Dude, so Emily, first of all, love Emily to death. We are polar opposites, like for the most part. Emily has a very dry sense of humor, but a good sense of humor. Like she's funny, and like she says shit that sometimes that catches me completely off guard. And I'm like with the finger condoms.
Love you, brother. Team Bravo for life. We know you're not that big of a dick, so.
You.
So we have these tiny condoms for you.
The finger condoms at the premiere.
Yeah, she was like, since you have such a tiny dick, like here, like yeah, like that was like, and she knows that that's kind of my humor too, and like for her to do that, and like it was hilarious for me, dude. And like she has that sense of humor, but she'd never been around like guys like us. And when I tell you, like when me and Drep met each other, it was just like the movie Step Brothers. Yeah. We're like, did we just become best friends? Like we're like, you know when you're like with a really good friend, or like you play football, right? Or
Yeah, I did. Just not
like,
very long, but I played basketball.
So like you get with your friends, you're joking, you're feeding off of each other. It was like that. It was like we were just feeding off each other, having fun, cracking jokes, being loud, obnoxious at some point in time, like completely, absolutely. Like, but that's also what got us through a lot of this. Yeah. And Emily was the only girl there. Polar, like different personality types.
Probably got old.
Yeah, definitely. So like we bumped heads every now and then, and like and like I'm very outspoken. Obviously, you know that, and I voiced this to Emily. I was like, Emily, I'm very outspoken. I'm going to say what's on my mind. Take what you want from it. Tell me to. I was like, literally, tell me to shut the fuck up if you want to. But I was like, please.
I think you've told me that before.
Yeah, but I was like, please just say what's on your mind, so we all know what's going on. Don't sit on it. But like, she was working through that, and that was a part of her growth out there too. Is like being more assertive and like letting people know how she was feeling. So towards the beginning, it would be like she would not say anything, and then like she would almost let it build out, and then almost lash out a little bit, and then we'd all have to hug, tell each other we loved each other, so on and so on. But we always did. We always got over it, and we all enjoyed ourselves. With the whole Raft situation, though,
that was my next question.
Yeah, so we had been trying to go to Alpha for like 3 days at this point in time, and the tide kept getting us, or we kept having to work on the shelter. Like it just, you're so busy out there that like trying to find that whole hour and a half, whatever it is going to take to walk over there and back is hard. So like things kept happening. We couldn't go over there, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And then we were like, okay, this is the evening. This is the time we're going to go do it. Ooh, sorry. That's gross. Anyway, we're like, this is the time we're going to go do it. Well, then Emily was like, I'm going to make this raft and I'm going to go over this island. And we're like, what the hell? And that was part of her like kind of being like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like just the thing that we had been talking about. So I totally understand the fact of that too. But then I was being grouchy. I was being an asshole. I'll admit it. Like I was pissed off because I was like, as a team, we wanted to go over there and we'd been trying to do it for days. And all of a sudden she was like, I'm going to go over here. And we couldn't really split up like that for one reason or the other, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So she goes over there, and like it's getting darker and darker, and then she starts to come back.
Didn't she go to like a random island in the middle?
Yeah. And
she didn't go to Alpha.
No, she just went to go see. She wanted to go see because in the first season there was like crab traps on an island, but there was like a drop that said that there was crab traps on the island, and they made a raft and stuff like that. But we were like, it kept kind of getting eluded. Like this isn't the same game as the first one. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, well, what if there is stuff out there? And I think we were probably going to go there no matter what at some point in time. But like it was in the evening, it was getting dark, it was getting colder. She went over there, grabbed some stuff that was there that wasn't actually there for wasn't actually put there by production, I don't think. And like crab traps. But then she started coming back, and then that's when, dude, the tide, when it was going in or out, created a wicked current around that island. It was like a Ventura effect. Mm-hmm. And it just sucked her out. And like, dude, after she got to some point, I was like, she's done. Like, she's done. It was getting dark, and it was just not good. They started getting hypothermic or hypothermia, and that's what happened. She had to go out. Yeah, they had to rescue her. And I sound very cold. Like listening back to the edits and everything like that are on the show, I sound cold. I'm like, well, we'll go get the raft tomorrow. Because we needed the raft. You know, I was just speaking what was, you know what I mean? I was just speaking like, we'll go get the raft tomorrow. Which we ended up not going to get the raft because we couldn't see it. And like we were exhausted by this point in time.
But so, okay, the way that it was edited, it showed, you guys made a raft, but then it showed, I always mix up the names.
Bree?
Huh?
Emily?
Well, no, I'm saying like the other team made a raft too.
Yeah, they did.
So was it coincidental? Like, why was everyone making rafts?
Well, we had a supply drop. And
but y'all had already made one, right? Because they made one for a different reason. Am I tripping?
They put theirs together to go with the dinghy. Because they dropped the dinghy, the rowboat that we finally got towards.
Yeah, so they made it because of that, but y'all already had one that was already made because Emily had made it.
Because Emily had made it, but then she lost it. So we had to go. Then that's when we finally went to go check on Alpha, and they were gone. So we got all their supplies and their stuff.
So you made another one?
So we made another one, and that's what I was stuck on out there.
Ah, okay, yeah. Walk me through you being stuck on that raft, bro, and kicking and
yeah. So we made a very
seeing your ass after.
Yeah, yeah. So we made a very half-ass paddle. We thought it was good. We sewed it all together and put it all together. Me, Sammy, and Drake, and I was actually gonna go to the island. We were putting it together because I was gonna go to the island to go see if there's any food and stuff over there. But it was way earlier in the day, and I was like, regardless, I'll be able to get back to shore somehow. Well, as we're putting it together, here comes this helicopter flying in, long lining a boat, and he drops it, and I'm like looking through the binoculars, and I'm like, I think it's a boat, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay, changing plans, I'm gonna go get this boat, which I should have made a new paddle because I was gonna have to go way further, but I was like, no, I gotta get there.
Yeah.
And I start paddling out there, and I get 3/4 of the way or whatever it is. My paddle just completely falls apart, and then I'm like literally up a creek without a paddle. And I'm watching, and I'm like close to the boat, and then I'm watching the boat get further and further, and I have like this irrational fear, and I need to stop thinking about it because I'm gonna manifest this shit. But I have this irrational fear, especially out there, that like if I swim in cold water, that I'm gonna have a full body cramp, sink to the bottom, and die. So that's what I was like, because that's a possibility that can happen, especially as exhausted and strenuous as like how my body had gone through. My legs were shot by this time, by the way. And I'm like floating. I'm like, screw it. I'll float to the bank and I'll go get it tomorrow. And then I was just like, I could hear Drake and all them like, come on, Drew. I was like, fuck. I was like going against the current. Then so I got in the water and just hung off this raft. And I had these very thick insulated boots. And as soon as they hit the water, just cinder blocks on my feet. And I'm kicking against this current and my legs are exhausted. I'd already probably lost 20-something pounds at this time. And I'm just kicking and screaming and kicking and screaming. I'm just putting my head down, closing my eyes, kicking, looking up, kicking. And I finally get there. I grab the boat. I thanked Jesus. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Like I said, everything was emotional. And I got in the boat, but I was like so exhausted. And my boots were so heavy. And then I was so cold. The water was like, I don't know what the water was, like 46 degrees or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. And I got back. The boys had the sleeping bags open for me. I just got butt ass naked. That's what you see on the show. I'm the only one that gets butt ass naked on the show. But I get butt ass naked on the show and hop in the sleeping bag. And I am in this thing for probably 2 hours. Just and like while you're shaking too, you're burning calories. Like that's why I lost so much weight the first 10 days, because we were so cold and it took so long to get our shelter where it was just windproof that you were burning so many calories. Like you would wake up and hear people's teeth. Oh, it was crazy. I've missed so much stuff I've already told you, but that'll be for another day. But it's just
is that why Emily came up with the micro when you got naked? Is that where she got the
maybe
micro?
that's where she got it because when I got she wasn't there to watch the show actually. when I got back, I was.
Oh yeah, she wasn't there.
She wasn't there. She
You're
wasn't
right.
there when that happened. But she watched the show, so she knew. But I got back and I actually said, I said, this is Drew Haas. This is Drew Haas coming to you live from Alaska. And by the looks of things, it's really cold outside. Because I was inverted, dude. It was just so cold. And you can even see my ass cheeks are all red and everything. I was like, God. I was like, you get out of an ice bath, man. But yeah, it was funny. And then like the other thing we had to do out there with her was everybody was constipated. Like after I shit my pants, I didn't shit for 9 days. Sammy didn't poop for like 18 days or 19 days, something like that.
Tell me more about Sammy.
Dude, Sammy, when I got home, I explained to Sammy, to my family, like, I was like, I had this guy on my team and he was the kindest hearted, just innocent person you've ever met. Like Sammy's like, does his own thing. He literally goes out in the woods for a month at a time, sometime builds a shelter, but I told my family, it's like, he's been untainted by the world. Like he just seems like he just hasn't been tainted like by like, maybe he has. Sammy's probably gone through trauma that I don't know about that he didn't share with me, but it just seems like he hasn't had anything taint his childlikeness. You know what I mean? Like that, that inner child.
Yeah.
And just like the innocence, dude. Like, and he's just such a good guy. And yeah, he just a good human being, just a good-hearted, innocent guy. You know what I mean? Like he's just super nice.
Yeah.
That's about like how, and like very, the type of person that can go be by themselves and live in the woods and like be by himself. Like he's a very peculiar person in a good way, in a very good way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I had a very interesting, diverse team.
Oh, very diverse.
Yeah. But so, and he got out because he was getting sick, right?
So Sammy, I started having some of the same issues that Sammy was having as far as my legs not being under me. Like, it was very weird. Couldn't walk very far without being really exhausted and just being very weak. Mm-hmm. But what Sammy was dealing with the worst, along with the legs and dizziness, like he had to catch himself a few times from falling down, from being dizzy. But he was having heart palpitations. And that was what was really scary out there. And I don't know if they showed that on the show or not, but he was having really bad heart palpitations. Anytime he would try to do anything physical, whether it was walking or trying to cut something or snap firewood, his heart would just go crazy. And he'd sit down for like 20 minutes. He'd be okay. And he'd get up and same thing. Lightheaded, dizzy, sick. And I can't go too much into detail about everything because I just, with the things were, but it looked like me and Drake were like, nah, dude, you got to go because we want more money, but that's not. And Sammy knows that's not how it was. And, you know, like, that's just how it looks on TV. There's them saying like what happened and like anything like that, but like with us wanting more money, but that's what it alludes to kind of. But that's not how it went down. And Sammy knows that. Like I literally got the phone with Sammy before I come here. We're talking about what we're going to be doing next, where we're going to meet up, hunt and all that stuff. But his health was like, I told him, I was like, dude, if my heart was, and sorry, can't say what I was about to say.
Okay.
But I was like, if my heart was doing what your heart's doing right now, I would go home.
Yeah, it's scary.
It just wasn't worth it. And I didn't know that Tanya went out on a stretcher. I had no idea that happened.
Oh yeah, because you're
right. We didn't want it. Yeah. So I've heard about people that had to, like, coming off of Naked and Afraid, that had to have a colostomy bag for months and months and months afterward, or years afterwards, because of stuff that happened to them because they went too hard. And like, I don't know. To me, it
show's really dangerous.
Dude, you have, like, it's serious, man. Like, it's serious. And then we had to, like, have a psych evaluation when we got out. I still have a psychiatrist right now post show, because coming out and coming back to the real world and everything like that, weird. It's like,
tell me, how's it weird coming back to the real world after the show?
You go from eating like being cavemen, basically, like just so disassociated with everything, and then boom, all of a sudden you're back in a hotel room. Boom, you take a shower. By the way, that shower, I cried. But
really,
being back, and it's just like, what the fuck just happened? I was just like, what just happened? And we just won $1 million? Like, what just happened? All of a sudden you're warm, you're cozy, you're comfortable, and it's like you just woke up from a fever dream, dude. That's what it felt like.
It felt like a nightmare?
No, didn't feel like a nightmare. Dude, it felt like you were just on this journey. Like you were like, but
psych evaluation, I get it.
Dude, it was crazy. But that first shower, dude, cried happy tears.
Yeah.
Hot water and I'll go with the shower first. I'll tell you about the conversation I had with my mom afterwards. But I got in that shower, cried, watched all the dirt fly off me. I showered for 45 minutes. I cleaned the bathtub out because it was disgusting. All the hair, almost I would say everything, but like a quarter of my hair and my legs had fallen out from stress and everything. I'll show you. I'll send you a picture of it. Like, it was crazy. I took pictures of it, but like I had to wash the tub out because it was gross. I took an hour-long bath, got up and took like a 30-minute long shower or whatever it was after that.
Yeah.
It felt so good. But right before that, I FaceTimed my mom when I got out. My phone was dead. I plugged it in, charged it. And the whole time I was out there, all I could think about was like what calling my mom was going to be like and telling her that I won, even before we won. That was something that I manifested at night. Every single night, laying on that ground, I had a lot of time to manifest. A lot. But calling her was something that I thought about and that I cried about, and like what it was going to be like to hear her voice. So I plugged in my phone. I FaceTimed her. Craziest shit that's ever happened to me right here. I FaceTimed my mom. She answers the phone. And it was like somebody hit a light switch on the back of my neck and just turned the lights out. And dude, and when I say I felt like I got knocked out, it was just like my legs, like everything, I just went, hit the floor, sobbing uncontrollably, could not use my muscles. It was like somebody hit an off switch. My phone hit the floor, and all I could hear was my mom saying, Drew, what happened? Drew, what happened? Are you okay? And it took, I don't know how long it was, but I laid there just unable to move, just like I was just, my body was flooded with so many emotions, and I was so weak, and the combination of both, it felt like waking up from a dream and then not being able to move your muscles. Have you ever had that? Like a night terror or something like that?
Paralyzed.
It felt like that. It was like somebody just cut off my nervous system. And I was finally able to crawl, like get up on my knees and grab the phone. And it was just like so emotional. She's like, what happened? What happened? And I told her, I was like, I won. I won. And I was just like crying. And then I got off the phone with my mom, and then I FaceTimed my sister and crying. I didn't hit the ground that time, but I was crying. And she screenshotted a picture of it, which is like one of my favorite pictures that like I'll ever have, because like it's like both my nephews and like their little heads are in there like poking in, and it's my sister and my brother-in-law all looking kind of over the couch, because my nephew had my sister's phone playing games, and my sister was in the kitchen, and she goes, he's like 5 years old at the time. He goes, why is, because he kind of knew what was going on. He goes, why is Uncle Drew texting you? And they were like, no, he lost or something happened or something like that. So they run over. And I'm FaceTiming them, they answer it, and they're like, they're all just looking, and she like, I'm like crying, I'm like this, I have my hand on my head, and she screenshotted it.
You gotta send that to me.
I will. You can drop it in there.
You drop it in there. Yeah, I'm sure people would love to see that.
Such an emotional time, dude, for Drake too.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Actually, you said such an emotional time for Drake too. What? I mean, I know you're not him, but from what you know, how did he take it?
So we each had our own hotel rooms, but they allowed us to do our refeeding diet and psych evaluations together. So we got to stay in the same rooms together. Like I just left my room and like kept my shit in it and went and stayed with Drake all night. We didn't sleep at all the first night. That, yeah, no, we didn't do no more of that shit. Didn't have to, but you know.
I thought that's what frat bros do, bro.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Eskimo bros. But Yeah, we got to kind of experience that together. Both of us were kind of in shock for the most part. It didn't sink in. We were having severe imposter syndrome. Like, what just happened? Like it was very, very weird. I got to listen to him talk to his kids and I wasn't with him for the initial phone call, but for afterwards, just hearing how emotional everybody was and listening to his wife. Dude, his wife, Adrian, also shout out to Adrian, single mom, watched all 4 of those kids by herself for, I think we were gone for like 6 weeks total. And for her to do that, like from like, I think 2 years old to 8 or 10 years old or 12 or something like that, 11. Like, she took a huge sacrifice doing that too as well. But like listening to them all talking and then talk over what happened with them was crazy. We stole a bunch of we didn't steal a bunch of candy bars. We weren't supposed to. So we weren't supposed to eat. This is funny. We weren't supposed to eat any processed foods. But Drake had a bunch of quarters, and we had we weren't allowed to we weren't supposed to like sneak out or anything like that. But we snuck out of our room and went to the candy machine. There was still like an old school candy machine in this hotel we were in. Got candy bars, Pop-Tarts, everything like that, smashed them. And then I puked, I was like puking up that night and like had heartburn all night long, but it was so worth it. So worth it.
I didn't think that was going to end with you. It was so worth it.
Yeah. Craziness.
So it's funny. This was actually going to be a question, but you just kind of just navigated there anyways. But I want to go back to the point because whenever I was at the premiere with you and I sat there and watched you watch that final episode where you and Drake are hiking through the forest, you get there and y'all are lighting that fire up and y'all are going crazy. I see you tearing up in the crowd of the premiere.
Yeah. And I'd already watched it once that day.
Really? Okay, so I didn't even know that.
I was really crying at home watching it.
What? Just tell me what was going through your mind when you realized that you and Drake were going to win $1 million.
Bro, it's crazy because that morning when we woke up, this is terrible to say, but like at that point in time, I wanted to go home and see my family so bad that I did not even, I wanted to win, but I did not care. Like, I had nothing else to prove to anybody. I was like, I stayed here. I did this. I had nothing else to prove. I didn't even care if I won, to be honest with you. Because I was so ready to go home, and I was so ready to go home and see my family. And I was like, I got so much out of it personally, and I felt like I had so much growth out there. And I was tired, and I was over it. And I was like, thinking to myself, like, I want to win. We're gonna win. All this stuff, but like in the back of my mind, I was like, I just want to fucking go home. Like, going home it would be great right now. But then, like, you know, we get there, we get started, and we're moving, and I was really worried about how my legs were gonna hold up. Then that adrenaline hit, dude. And once like me and Drake kind of talked to each other, we got like a let's go kind of deal. Like, it was game on, dude. Like, Drake's 6'7", right? I told you he's huge. His stride is so much longer than mine. I was like, I'm gonna navigate. That's the thing. I know how to use a compass. By the way, I know how to use a compass. I'm a helicopter pilot. Not to the degree of a lot of people probably, like land nav and everything like that. For the most part, I know how to use a fucking compass. Yeah. Anyway, I was like, you set the pace. I know you're gonna be way faster than me. I'll navigate. So he gets going, and anytime he would get 20 yards ahead of me, if he would get 20 yards ahead of me, that was a point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna run. So we just kept doing that. I would run. Boots are messed up. I can't get them wet anymore because if I get them wet, they just fill up with water just like that, because all the protective like rain shedding oils and stuff that was on them were just wiped after that swim. Gross. So I navigated. He would get in front of me. I would run. Boom, 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 boom. We finally got on that last stretch. You know, he puts me on his back, runs across the river. We're all hyped up. We're screaming at each other. I got that dog in me. I got like shit like that. Like, yeah. Dude, that's what kept us going, dude. Like, we were running off of so much adrenaline. Like, that's all I had to run off of. And we were hyping ourselves up, screaming at each other, slapping each other, like whatever we needed to do. And like toward like the last whatever it was, we ran. We literally ran. And like I looked over, Delta wasn't there yet. I'm like, all right, it's game time, but we have to slow down. Slow is fast. The night before, neither one of us had ever done a bow drill before, but I had watched hours and hours and hours done of it, and I had started other fires similar to that, but I'd never used a bow drill before. I just knew how to use a bow drill. So we put this bow drill kit together, and we're going, and we're going, and we're going. I'm like, okay, we got this coal. It wasn't big enough, obviously. We drop it in there. I'm blowing on it. I'm watching it get smaller and smaller, and it's not lighting. I'm like, fuck. I'm like looking over my shoulder. Delta's not there yet. I'm like, okay. Drake, we restart. We fumble a few times, and like all this is just building. It's just like this crazy build. There's $1 million on the line, and we get it going again. We get a bigger one going. I'm yelling at Drake, and I'm like, all this stuff. And then we get the next like little cherry coal, dump it into the bundle, and I'm sitting here blowing it. It's getting bigger, and then whoosh. I'm like, okay, so we move it. We've got to move it into this other fire, which has to get 10 feet in the air. It's raining outside. Everything's wet. I've got one boot on because I had to take it off because you want to have your foot on that board to like get that board very still, like just the muscles in your feet help and all that stuff. Okay. We get it on there and we're blowing. We're trying to get this thing going. We singe all the hairs on our beards, our eyelashes, our hair's all singed. Drake's face got really singed, blistered up and everything because we're blowing. But the wind is blowing so hard, like the flame's going up here, and then the fuse has to light for us to win, right? Well, the wind is blowing it like over here. And I'm like, okay, well, we need to figure something out. Like, cause like if the fire dies down from there, we're screwed. We lost. So it's so intense, dude. Like we burnt our face already. Like we already had to restart this thing twice. This wind's blowing, screwing us. And then I'm like asking Drake, I'm like, should we burn our clothes? And he's like, go get my rain jacket. I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to burn our clothes. And he's like, no, go get my. So I go get his rain jacket. And his big ass, he just goes, whew, and stands on the other side of the wind like this. And I watch the flame just go from like over here. And then it's just creeping forward. And whoosh, it catches. And like but there was four freaking fuses. And it catches one. And I'm like, come on. And then it catches the next one, and then the third one, the fourth one. And I swear these fuses are the longest thing I've ever seen, dude. I'm sitting here. That's when you see us, and we're like, fight. We're just screaming. And dude, the feeling, and you can hear me saying, we're going to win $1 million. Drake, we're going to win $1 million. Even before that, even when we were fumbling around getting stuff, I was like, we're going to win $1 million. And like, it was starting to become so real. Like, it was like, oh my God, this is real. This is happening. And then like, to have gone through what we went through, which felt like hell, and all these emotions and what felt like a year, and all this growth, and like crying and getting close with strangers, and all this hardship that we went through, which again, you don't see the half of it. You really don't. Because it's like I said, it's very long days, minute by minute out there. But to go through all that and then to watch that red smoke barrel out of there, finding like the amount of emotion that flooded through my body, and the relief, and the like, I just did that. I don't know if I'll ever experience an emotion like that again. Like when people talk about their child's birth, like that's what I compare it to like the level of emotion of like my grandparents passed away together same day type of stuff. Horrible situation. But that deepness of that emotion, but in a good way. That's how I compared it to. Like that's the only other 2 times in my life I can explain that kind of emotion. And then the FaceTime with my mom was very emotional, and that like the gratitude and like hitting the ground, like all that together was couldn't put into words. And I'm kind of afraid that I'm never gonna experience anything like that ever again. It freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does it freak you out? That you'll
I don't
never
know.
experience? Is it because the high was just so high?
So high. So the relief was so high. My life's about to change forever. Like that defining moment in my life. They say you live like 4 different lives in your life. And I felt like that was the day that my first life ended and my new life began. And it did. It really did. Like we were joking around afterwards, like being dumb, and like both of us were like, put some respect on my name, and like being dumb, but in a serious way. Like after that, there's nobody on this planet that can tell me that I cannot do something, that I can't do something I set my mind to. There's nobody that can say you didn't deserve it or something like that. No matter all the hate that I'm getting, the way it looked on TV and all that stuff, there's nobody that can say, because, you know, like the way the show looks too, we look like we were being lazy. We were just riding coattails, that we were doing this and that. First of all, Drake is the hardest working person I've ever met in my life. Just seen him out there, and like me trying to keep up with him even out there has probably screwed me really bad. Like that's why I lost so much weight, because anytime he was doing something, I was like, I got to be doing something too. But and it's just an insane workhorse. But to have gone through all that, and like I said, it was like my new life is beginning now. And then today, for me to be sitting here with you and just to get paid $500,000 today, I just paid $21,000 worth of. I have more to pay off, but like as soon as I got paid, I looked at it in my account for a little bit, looked at that number,
erase some debt,
boom, credit card debt gone, all of it. Sort of just like stuff that I owed people, my friend, like going on trips, or a friend's like, hey, I want you to go, but I'm like, hey man, I can't afford it. Hey, let me buy your flight, pay me back later. Like stuff like that I have written down on my phone. Like boom, boom, boom. Just like, I want to be free of the shackles of debt.
Yeah. But you describing it, see, that's why. That's again, you're the first friend I have that's won a show like this, and that amount of money, just like that, and where it's life changing in their life. Right. So, after watching the show, but even after hearing you explain it in more detail now, that's why I've been so freaking proud of you, bro. Because it's like you get a chance to, and even having the mindset of saying like, I get a chance to do this.
Yeah.
You went through all of that shit. You came home and you can say you won the whole damn thing.
Yeah, bro. Can't take that away from me. I don't care who you are, what you say, you can't take it away. Can't take it away from either one of us.
Yeah. There's a question that I think a lot of people want to know. So you guys won all that money. What are you going to, you won $500,000 each.
Yep.
What do you plan on doing with it?
Oh, I hated the way that was portrayed too, just because it was like, looked like we just wanted cars and toys and money and stuff like that. I
mean, you pulled up in a Ferrari, bro.
So yeah, that's what I pulled up in a 1997 F-250, which I will not be selling, and I'm probably going to be buying something used that's a little more dependable. But
no, actually, I recorded you.
Yeah, you did.
I'll put that in the podcast.
Perfect. Like, dude, like I talked about buying a new boat because I do own a boat rental company. So I thought about buying a boat for my boat rental company. I'm not sure if I want to do that anymore. I'm going to wait, kind of feel the winter out, but like, I wanted to pay off all my debt because I was like, I just feel like I've been in prison, and that's been part of that has taken my inner child away. That took that happy part of me away, just like the stress of it always being in my brain. So like paying all my debt off is numero uno. 100 to 150,000 of that's taxes. Another 100 of that straight into my Roth IRA. So by the time I'm 60 years old, that's $1.2 million, give or take. Straight in there. Like at the end of the day, I'm not going to have much money. Like I'm going to be set though. I'm going to be set up. I'm going to be very set up. Will not have any more debt anymore. I won't have this interest that's just been leeching on me for years. And I'm going to travel. Like I've wanted to travel since I was a little kid, man. And I'm going to go travel the world. I'm going to get a backpack. I'm going to take probably 15 grand and live as cheap as I can and just go as long as I can on 15 grand. I'm going to start in Thailand and just bounce around from there. But, I do want to add one thing, but you talked about believing in yourself earlier, like you believe in yourself. The sooner that you can convince yourself, lie to yourself, whatever you have to do to, like, you know, you tell yourself long enough that like, hey, I can do this. You're going to eventually, like, words are powerful. You're going to eventually believe that you can do it. But like when I remember being 8 years old playing Need for Speed with my cousin. And being like, I'm going to be the first person in Hallettsville, Texas that owns a Lamborghini. Now, that's just me believing in myself when I was a kid. I don't have any dreams of buying a Lamborghini anymore and driving it in Hallettsville, Texas. But at 16 or 15, I was driving in the car with my sister. And I looked over to her, and I don't know why I felt this way. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. But I have this like this belief in myself that I'm going to do something extremely large with my life, and I'm going to do a lot of good in this life, in this world. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to have a lot of money. I'm going to travel. And I'm going to help people. And that was at 16. And I've struggled very hard since then. And I've busted my ass. And it felt like I was spinning my wheels for so long to the point where I wanted to give up real bad. And finally something like, the manifestation, dude. I added that one aspect into my life, and my prayer and God, my closeness with God. I add those two things. I'm sorry. I want to put God first, matched with the manifestation and believing in myself, and tying those two things in together. Because I think they are, for me personally. I think that like that is the key to unlocking your relationship with God, is kind of through that whole thing. I haven't figured out how to put it into words yet, but those two things together, it was just like everything fell into place, and new life. Here it goes. And I've already, like, same thing with you, dude. I feel like both of us have done a really good job of networking and building relationships and meeting people. And it feels like all the puzzle pieces are coming together finally.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm sorry, I keep going off these rants.
No, bro, I love them. It's real.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just being real.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just being real.
And I appreciate you. Like, I appreciate this, dude. It's nice to talk. Like, I haven't got to talk to somebody like this deep about it, so I appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah.
For sure. It's definitely been fun talking about it. And it's just been interesting just to pick your brain about the whole show. I mean, your life has changed. So you're going to try. Well, oh yeah. Whenever you get on this whole travel trek to Thailand backpacking, let me know, bro. I will drop in.
And we'll go.
I'll drop in. I'll just drop in, bro.
Then I'll take you in the woods, and we won't eat for 7 days, and we'll just stare at each other. And no, but yeah, for sure. Like let's go do the thing with Preston. I would love to have my friends drop in around the world. It'd be very nice, because I have learned that after about 2 months, I get very homesick, and I start missing friends and family real bad, and it's time for me to kind of get a visit. But it's different when you can't even call them.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you're going to start in Thailand. Thailand is actually my favorite, besides the U.S., because I love the U.S. Yeah. My favorite country in the world.
It's where I want to go.
Any excuse to go, I'll go back.
Sweet. Well, you got one now.
For sure.
We'll get you. You want to do some Muay Thai while we're over there?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bro.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I got a free month at Black Sheep Boxing.
Oh yeah, Black Sheep's good.
They did a grand reopening actually, and got some gloves. I need to get back. I need to get in there.
Dude, you'd be great. You're athletic and you've got long arms.
Yeah.
I'd have a reach on you though. I said I'd have a reach on you though.
Right.
Oh shit, that's funny, dude. You got like 8 inches on me.
No, but
you've got a foot on me.
Bro, you were strong though. The other day I saw you were I think you were deadlifting 400.
405, 5 times.
Yeah,
I was getting after it.
Okay, yeah, you can.
I was powerlifting in high school. I was 148 pounds, squatted 505 pounds at 148 pounds.
Yeah, I've never been able to hit 500.
You got a lot longer way to go than I did.
Yeah, the most I've been able to do is 4 plays.
Dude, with your length, that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But I mean, we're getting towards the end. Why don't you tell me about, like, is there anything that you want to talk about the show specifically, what you've learned, maybe a specific situation or anything that you'd want the audience to know, something you'd want to get off your chest?
I think it would just be, man, go at life with the compassionate heart and try to believe the best in people and give people the benefit of the doubt until they give you a really good reason, personally not to, just to love one another in general. We need a lot more of that right now. Like put your politics aside and whatever other differences you have, and just treat people like you want to be treated. And that's the number one advice that, I mean, as cliche as that is. Yeah, treat people right. Treat people how you want to be treated, especially with all the division that we have right now. It sucks.
Yeah,
I'm way over it.
100%. Yeah,
and believe in yourself and start manifesting. Holy shit, do it now. Do it now. And message me on Instagram if I have to start making videos about it, I will. Like if you take anything from this whole podcast today, set 10 minutes aside at least 5 days a week, relax your body, get happy, think about what you want, believe that you have it right now. Change your life.
I'm actually very interested in your manifestation practice. So I'm here for you making some videos on it. I'll watch them.
Bet.
Super curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just
I would, dude. Like that's a life goal for me too. Is just to be like to go places and speak and help people. Like that's on the life goal chart. Don't know where it's at, but maybe after this year traveling, we'll pursue that a little bit more.
100%. Well, again, I know I keep bringing up Preston, but I definitely want to reintroduce you guys.
Please, yeah, please do.
Because I mean, the fact that he already knows you's even better.
Yeah.
I know one of his goals is to really help uplift other people. Yeah. And I think you have what it takes. And he wants to do that because he can only change so many people's lives.
Right.
Him and his wife have realized that like they're on a mission to really, really help transform people's lives.
Yep.
But they can only touch so many people.
Yep.
And I think you'd be a really good candidate to learn and be able to do the same for other people and pay it forward.
I would do that's literally a life dream of mine, just to go and help other people in another way I can. Like that bleeding out of like my cup is full, let me pour over into you. Yeah. It's another lesson. Like you can pour over into other people once your cup is full, but you have to fill your cup first to overfill into theirs.
Yeah, it's a quote that it's fill your own cup and then give from the overflow.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what I'm getting back to, man. I really feel like not having all these bills dragged down on me and stuff like that is really going to allow me to blossom back into that person, that positive, super positive person that I was at a younger, with more knowledge, more experience, and life stuff like that.
Yeah, for real. We talked about this on the podcast we did with Lex, but that podcast didn't really get much attention.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was super interesting how you met, Cody Sanchez DM'd you.
Oh, dude, Cody, the whole Cody Sanchez thing, bro. That is the most honest, worst fuck up that I've ever done in my whole entire life, probably. That was crazy.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So yeah, I'll revisit that story.
Yeah, revisit.
Cody, if you're watching, I'm so sorry, and I'm dumb. But so I'm on Instagram one day, and this chick's like in my feed, and she's super smart and she's business minded, and I'm like, damn, this chick's badass. And I'd started seeing her videos, went to her page, I was like, sweet. And I know she was following me, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was following her back. Obviously, I saw her stuff. So I wanted to go send her a DM, and then I opened my DM, and I see this message from her that I had opened and never responded to. I guess I opened it, just didn't read it, or just had an ADD moment. You know, you open your message and like whatever. And it was like, hey, would love to collab. You're doing a bunch of cool stuff. Well, this is probably, the message is probably 2 or 3 years old now, before she kind of really blew up. Love to collab, blah, 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 blah. And I opened it, forgot I opened it, whatever the hell happened, and never responded. And I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. So I messaged her back. I'm like, I'm so fucking, and I know how this looks too. It totally looks like I ignored her message, and then she blew up, and then I was like, hey, you want to do something to get
right.
And I knew that, but I messaged her and I was like, I'm so sorry. I opened your message and did not see it, didn't respond, whatever it was. And she never DM'd me back. Yeah. I'm sorry. That was an honest mistake.
Yeah. I have a feeling that, and I mean, I don't know her that well. I've met her one time and she seems pretty dope, but I definitely can see from her perspective being like, yeah.
Oh, dude, I see how that looks.
Back then, they didn't want me. But now I'm hot.
Now they all own me.
They all own me.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like. And like, honestly, vice versa, I'd be the same. Like I had a brand that's been following me for a while, and never have they ever wanted to work with me before. I posted a thing about Netflix, and they're like, "Hey, man, you want to work together?" And I was like, but they were like, "Do you like for not enough?" And I was like, "No," but that's how same shit, exact shit. And dude, it could be
Yeah.
the same thing, but like that was an honest mistake. I honestly,
Yeah, for sure. But where I was going with that is, I just have a feeling if you just continue to grow, at some point,
we'll be able to cross paths.
At some point when you start playing the same game, you're going to be in the same circles, and I think you're going to be able to laugh with her about that.
Oh, for sure, 1,000%. I think so too, and it's been fun to like. It's been so much fun, like for us to network with each other's friend groups and introduce people to, and like, dude, it starts happening fast, right? When you start meeting people, how crazy is that? Yeah. Dude, since Tiger King, literally, that's like since the Tiger King Kingdom stuff that we filmed, I met like Jay. Jay came here, hung out with Jay. Jay introduced me to Ross Smith. Ross Smith is one of my really good friends now. We hang out all together. He's introduced me to a bunch of people. I met you, and like so many of us have mutual friends, and like it's just like bam, like it started happening quick, and that's been very fun.
Yeah, I think one of the best ways to actually become successful is get yourself in the same room. Get yourself in the same rooms with people who have what you want.
1,000%. It's the same 5 people who you hang out with the most.
Bro, it works.
So, and that's another lesson, people, is like, I'm not telling you to get rid of your friend group at all, but
get rid of your friend group. No, I'm kidding.
But like start introducing new people into your friend group that are doing better than you, that have kind of what you want or doing what you want to do, that are positive. Surround yourself with those people. The same thing I said in the last podcast. Like 2 of my best friends moved that are very business minded, very driven guys that I'm around a lot. They both moved, and I'm sitting here like, oh man, I don't have anybody to push me anymore. I called Brandon Harrell, who I was just an acquaintance with. Called him. I was like, hey man, I see y'all working out at 5 a.m. up the gym, busting ass. You mind if I come work out with y'all? I need some guys to push me. I need people to like push me. And he was like, bring it on, dude. And that changed my life. Literally changed my life. And I've introduced him to people. He's introduced me to a lot of people. I've got the podcast studio. His podcast studio that he lets me use at his house at the hangar. And he's the one that told me 2-ish years ago, kind of when I first started really going up there, that, hey, I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I was like, I'm working so hard I feel like I'm doing all the things. I'm getting up at 5 a.m. I'm journaling, I'm meditating, I'm working on myself, I'm working on all this stuff I'm learning, but I feel like I'm going nowhere. He's like, you're just pulling your arrow back, dude. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting tired of holding this motherfucker though. Like it's getting bad. Like I wanted to get, like, I never was going to give up, but I got to points where I was like, why am I doing this? And he was like, you're going to release it soon. And then boom, like the show started happening. I won the $500,000. I just got paid the $500,000 today. And now I just feel like it's, and then I'll get humbled. Some shit will happen. And like that's just ebbs and flows. Like that's part of life.
To pull that arrow
back again and just know that you're pulling it back. Like it's the picture of the 2 men digging for a gold mine. One guy quits and he's this far from it, and the other dude's still digging. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah, but it's that flame's powered by belief. You can't give up. It's the people that make are the people who never gave up.
Yeah, and the sacrifices you sacrifice. Like you have to make sacrifices.
Yeah, but even going back to your whole the topic of adding new people to your friend group, I'll even add on to that. I think there's a lot of us who have friends that we give 20 hours a week that we should give 20 minutes a week.
Oh, 1,000%. They're rocks. They're rocks they're pebbles in your shoes.
Yeah,
doesn't seem like it's doing a lot, but over time it's going to cripple you.
100%. And then that's definitely something that I personally have learned through my growth journey. That's why I keep speaking really high of Preston. The people like Preston, Zachariah. There's just a new group of friends that I've been introduced to, that I've really Wayne. He's been on this podcast. Have started to pour more time and attention into, because I just want to be surrounded by people who want to grow.
Yeah,
and I might have my drinking buddies
for sure, but
I'm in the stage of massive action and growth, and I don't want anything to hold me back from that.
Right, and you can still love those friends, be very close with those friends, but like you need to be. It's not that you need to be spending It's that you need to be spending more time with the other guys that are going where you want to go or are already where you want to be, which means you have to spend less time with your other friends, which is fine. It's fine. You know what I mean? That's one of those sacrifices. And your friends should understand that too. I have been blessed, very blessed, that to have gone through K through 12 with some of my best friends still to this day that are complete animals. Animals, dude. Just workhorses. And like, I love being around those guys because, like, in one way or the other, they're pushing me, I'm pushing them, and that's how a good friendship should be. Your good friends should be the ones calling you saying, "Hey, you're being a piece of shit. You need to get your ass off the floor, stop complaining, and go do your shit." That's a good friend. Yeah. A bad friend's gonna tell you, "Oh, everything's fine." Like you should quit. Like that's what I love about going up there with Brandon and stuff like that. They're telling me like, "Hey, hey, you're fucking up, dude." Or you're like, you shouldn't be doing that. Or like, you need to make that hard decision. Yeah. That's the shit that you need to be hearing from the people around you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%, man. I'm fully there with you. Man.
Good talk, man.
Yeah, it's been real deep. It's been real enlightening. It's been fun just hearing your story.
Dude, I had so much fun the first time we were all together. That was great. But yeah.
All right, the show's over. You won $500,000. What's next?
I've had a feeling that question was coming. I was about to ask you that same question.
You can ask me after.
I'm going elk hunt. Like as far as trips go, I'm going elk hunting with the boys. Get away from everything for 9 days. Go spend some time in the woods. I'm a freak. I've been getting really weird about my health and the things I put in my body, even though I ate Chick-fil-A a while ago. I know that, but I've been getting kind of weird about the stuff I put on my body, like the stuff I brush my teeth with, the type of boxers I wear, all this stuff. And I started using beef tallow a while back for my skin. Beef tallow on my skin. My skin doesn't look great right now because I picked on it really bad before I come here. Like 3 hours before there, I forgot it. I had one of those little tools and I was like pressing on my face and everything. Anyway. But I've been using beef tallow, and for the last 3 months, and my skin has never felt healthier, looked healthier, like just hasn't. It's just been great, and I've been using it as sunblock too. I mix zinc in it with it. I made my own brand. I don't have an Instagram account. Don't have anything set up yet. I've just been playing with my formula, and I use all natural beeswax from some of my friends that are bee farmers here. I use grass-fed, grass-finished tallow, and it's soot fat from a cattle's stomach area. It's the purest, most nutrient-rich fat on a cow. Render all that down with virgin coconut oil and non-nano zinc oxide. Those are the only ingredients. Put that on your face. It acts as a sunblock and so good for your face. That's my next. It's blowing up right now. So like I've got that. I'm gonna start selling. I'm gonna start. Yeah, I'm gonna start selling it. That's my next entrepreneurial venture, and I think that's something that I can do while I'm traveling and stuff like that.
You're gonna go crazy with that.
I've
been interested in the beef tallow too. I haven't tried it, but
so what's dude? I'll give you some. The next batch that I make, and what's crazy is like we were talking about doing UGC content and stuff like that for brands. Well, there's a lady that runs one of these companies named Maddie. I have a phone call with her tomorrow actually. She's helping another brand right now. They're making, they just had their first $40,000 day, and they've been consistently hitting $40,000 a day, not with beef tallow, but with something else. And she got it mapped out, basically how to run ads through social media to get there. So kind of working with her. And then from there, like I said, like looking my 5-year plan, I would love to be on a stage speaking. And that might be much closer than that, but that's the big goal.
I love that. That's awesome.
What about you? What's 5-year goal look like for Sacred Thomas?
5 year?
Yeah.
Whew. In 5 years, I'll be approaching 40. That's scary.
I forget, you're a couple years older than I am.
33.
Yeah.
How old are you?
29.
29. Okay.
You look 25 though.
Huh?
You look 25 though. It's annoying.
I'll take it, man. Maybe I'll look 22 after the beef tallow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least maintain the 25. But, bro, I started this podcast really because I just wanted to get better at my own communication.
Mm-hmm.
And
which we've talked about that. I even asked you if you've been taking a course, remember? A few months ago.
You asked me, you did?
Texted you a few months ago and I was like, dude, have you been taking a course on speaking? Because I had been watching it. I'd been studying it.
Oh, okay.
And I was watching your cadence, watching the pauses in your voice, watching you not use filler words a lot of times. I was like, Sacred's been working on this shit. Sorry to cut you off.
Okay, no.
But you're doing great. I noticed.
I appreciate that. I still use filler words though, but I have gotten a lot better. If you see episode 1 versus this one, you'll see that I have gotten better. I can't wait for episode 100. But so yeah, originally I wanted to start this podcast to get better at communicating with people.
Mm-hmm.
And to just really soak in and learn. I think life's about growing and learning. I didn't really have a financial goal with it.
Yeah.
But I see the light now.
Yeah.
And not that I'm saying the financial goal will taint the original mission.
But like you said earlier, like getting to just have conversations with people for a living, that's a dream.
So that's where I was going to go. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Being able to.
Dude, like this has been so fun. It's been what, 2 hours, whatever it's been. It's probably been longer than that. Like,
yeah, probably 2.5.
Yeah, you're so easy to talk to. Like I've genuinely enjoyed this whole conversation.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I need to start asking for feedback more often too.
I'm glad you said
that. No, but I'm really glad that you said that because sometimes I don't know how people feel.
No, dude, you're a great interview. Like, I don't know, me and you just when we met each other, we kind of hit it all. Yeah, it's just.
But see, I'm a very chill person.
Yeah,
you're a lot more. You're a lot more energetic and
right.
I've always been real cool with people like that because you hype me up.
Yeah,
and I like that. So
yeah, what you're seeing me chilling here on this seat, like sitting down for this long. If I wasn't talking to Sacred right now, I'm usually quite the energy ball.
Yeah.
If you watch this show, you'll see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Even when you're like dying of hunger and all that.
Yeah.
No, but just I want to grow this as big as I possibly can. So it clicked with me. I don't even remember at what point it did, but it's definitely clicked that this could be something that I can do till I'm 80 if I wanted to.
Bro, it is something. You've got over 1 million followers now. Nobody's told you yet. Congratulations on your hard work, brother. Like seriously, like I've watched you grow from nothing to what you've got. And it's been so much fun. So much fun watching you grow, dude. So I'm super happy for you.
It's so crazy to me. It just feels like I'm just starting.
Yeah, which is, dude, it's cool.
Yeah,
you kind of are, but you're crushing it, man. Like. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make you blush or anything like that, but like, I'm super stoked for you, dude. Like,
no, I appreciate that.
I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that, man. I'm proud of you too. It's it's hard to. I guess that's one of those things that you were talking about when you're in the wilderness. You get a chance to really sit there and take things in. I don't think I've gotten a chance to do it yet.
Go in the woods.
Maybe we'll do it in Thailand.
We should. I'm telling you, man. Like it's or we're just need to do that thing with Preston. I'm sure like you can. It's probably going to be the same, but different.
It's same, different. Yeah. It's from what I know. It's gonna fuck you.
I'm ready. Just fuck me. Cut it out.
Yeah, I'm not cutting it, but somebody's gonna clip that.
Oh God!
They're gonna think it's a Diddy party.
I'm on a casting couch now. They're
gonna think it's a Diddy party, man.
Oh God! No, like emotionally wreck me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's gonna because with the type of work in the bridge experience, from what I've heard, it's really going to dive deep into your mental, but also physical.
Yeah.
Somatic work it's to get that body. I'm gonna butcher it, but
release.
Yeah, exactly. Release, as the body remembers what the mind forgets.
Yep.
So even though you think you mentally have gotten past something, your body still remembers, and it's doing that body work to complete that healing process. Yeah. And we all have these traumas that we've gained from childhood.
1000%.
And nobody has taught us how to deal with it and open up our body's capacity to let in more love, more light, more abundance. And that's the work that he does. So
that's I think there's something to say for that too, man. Like dude, people, I don't care who you are, like now that I have money now, it's another part of me. I'm gonna go see a therapist. I'm gonna work through whatever bullshit I need to work through. Cause like, dude, like I was raised with an alcoholic father. It's another thing that I thought about a lot out there, cried over, and like I love my dad very much, but we have a very fucked up relationship. Excuse my language.
Right now, still
a very fucked up relationship. Yeah. Love my dad to death. Most amazing person to be around sober. But I dropped him off at a rehab facility 2 days before I went out there. Didn't have him contacted. Didn't know how he was doing while I was out there the whole time. Thought about that. All the shit kind of what growing up with that was like. He went to rehab again in May. Went to the family deal with him again. Relapsed 2 days later when he got out. And like when my dad drinks, he's a mean drunk, and like not physically. I got my ass whipped a lot as a kid, but deserved most of them. But just the emotional side of things, like the verbal side of things, like he does a lot of projecting and stuff like that. But like, for instance, he went to rehab again about a month ago or 2 months ago, whatever it was, got out after a month, was supposed to come to my watch party with me and my family were all together. Never showed up, had me looking out the window like a little kid, waiting for his dad to get home, and never showed up, called his friend. He was like, hey, I'm sorry, Drew, he's drunk, passed out. Didn't text me on the biggest day of my life, September 4th, biggest day of my life, sends me this long, super hateful message like, you've never done anything with your life. All you've ever done is accrue debt, blah, 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 blah. He would tell me like, hey, and his dad is my grandpa, who I put on the largest pedestal ever. Like, he's just like, was my superhero. Telling me stuff like, Papa would be so disappointed in you. Just literally projecting what he feels inside about himself onto me, but it still hurts. And to do it on that day, like I just blocked him. I haven't talked to him since then. But like that's stuff that I have to deal with, and everything. Like, and he has trauma. Like he has trauma from like my grandparents and like what happened with them, and like,
I mean, it's really sad to hear that, man. But can you tell me more? Can you tell me about your family and tell me specifically about your grandparents?
Yeah.
I know you said your grandpa was kind of like a hero to you. Yeah.
So I'll try to I'm going to put on my game face right now, and it's going to like, I have to kind of compartmentalize so I don't get super emotional talking about it. But, so I grew up right next to my grandpa and grandpa. We lived on the same piece of land. We raised cattle. So we were on one side of the land. They were on the other side. I was at their house every day. My parents were both very young parents. They got pregnant at 16. My grandpa tore down his home, his house that he grew up in, and rebuilt their house at 16. So like that's where I was raised over there. They lived on the other side, so I was around them a lot. My grandpa was a superintendent of the school for 30 years. Was very well respected in our community. Built the expo center, the football field, and like had a bunch of stuff done for the community. So they were just very loved. And my grandparents were high school sweethearts. Could never be separated. They worked together. My grandma worked in the office where he was at the school for 30 years. So they're, my grandma thinks she has vertigo one day. And again, can't tell you how close I was with them, but my grandma thinks she has vertigo, she's kind of dizzy, or at least she tells us that. And this goes on for like a week or so. I go over there one day and she's kind of acting weird. She's like, oh, I'm like, you probably have sinuses, whatever. Didn't think anything was wrong. They were like 72 and 73. Well, they go run at the track. Later that week, my grandma starts to drag her leg. Just her leg just stopped working. So my grandpa drove her straight to MD Anderson because my sister had cancer back in the day. Did stem cell transplants. We spent a lot of time at MD Anderson. Loved that place. They saved my sister's life. So they went straight there and basically diagnosed my grandma like, hey, you have stage 4 brain tumors. Yeah. So that was horrible. And that was in May of 2018. And I've always had this weird thing with the number 23. I knew something very significant was going to happen, good or bad, or something with 23, and that's a whole thing that I can go into later. But I was 23 years old. We found out she had brain tumors. She fought it for a little while. They did some chemo. She had a surgery on one, but then July came, and my grandpa had stopped eating. He lost like 20 or 30 pounds himself. He said everything tastes like a sock. They kept making comments like, we wish we could just go to sleep together, this or that. And end of July, they went to the hospital and they're like, there's nothing we can do for you. So just go home and, enjoy the rest of your time. So they got in bed on July 30th, 2018, and got a gun, and both of them went out together. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a terrible phone call, man. And my dad was the one that found him. He was already my dad was already an alcoholic before then, but that really kind of...
That pushed him over.
Yeah, that put a thing. So, it was just rough, dude. It was really rough. And it still is. Like, that's, drove home that day with my mom, my sisters. We drove home. There's just people parked all and down the road at their house, people that I don't know, they're friends, but like everybody loved them so much. I can't when I tell you like the kind of people that they were, like salt of the earth, never gonna meet somebody like them again. Like I could go on for 3 days straight about how good of human beings these people were and how much they meant to us. Like they were a rock, dude, rock. And like I was getting prepared for nanny. Like that was very fast though too. That sucked really bad, and we weren't expecting it. And they kept giving us little signs, and like, dude, I never imagined that. Never in my wildest years. I'm like, never forget it. I was sitting in my apartment, first apartment I ever had in Austin, drinking coffee. Dad calls me. He said, "Hey," I knew something was wrong immediately. I thought he was going to tell me Nanny passed away. He was like, Nanny and Papa committed suicide.
Wow.
Terrible. And
did they leave a note?
It's crazy because my grandpa always wrote very long letters and stuff like that to us, heartfelt letters for Christmas, stuff like that. It was the weirdest thing, dude. Like there was coffee. Their coffee was on a timer. It had made coffee. He had his clothes laid out like for the next day on the chair, but it was like they had it planned, but just didn't know when they were doing it. And like, that was like, all of a sudden they were like, I don't know if something happened, like she couldn't get out of bed, or she was just like, okay, let's do it now. And the note just said, what did it say? It said, no funeral, combine the ashes, and too much pain or something like that, like too much pain to go through. And that was hard, and like we respected their wishes and didn't like hold a funeral so I never really got that closure that I wanted to. So yeah, that's like, it's back to the going to see therapists and stuff like that. And I've had to build up a serious wall in my head to be able to even talk about that without just completely blubbering. But you can imagine when they asked me about that while I was out there, after I'm emotional, like I was just like hyperventilating, crying.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that would just send you.
But you know what? That got me through a lot out there, dude. Because like I can feel them with me all the time. I dream about them at least once a week, where I'm with them. I'm like lucid dreaming. Like I know that they've passed away. They know that they've passed away, and we're literally having conversations like me and you are right now. Ask them how they're doing. I'm blessed to have that, and that's very it's weird. I can feel their hugs. Yeah. But they got me through a lot, man. I really do. Might sound stupid, but I do a lot because I want to make them proud. But yeah, not to bring the podcast down on a sad note at the end, but a little bit of history there.
I mean, it's sad, but it's life.
It's beautiful, man. It's Romeo and Juliet. Like, they just don't make them like that anymore, man. They don't make somebody like. I just hope that one day that I can have the type of love
they had for each other.
Like after that long a time, how much you love somebody after being with them for 50, 60, 50 something years. They've been married for 50 something years. And to like, I can't live without this person. Mm-hmm. If you've ever heard the song Death Cab for Cutie, what's it called? No vacancy sign, something like that. I'll let you listen to it after this. It's beautiful. And it ends with like, I'll follow you into the dark. And like always that one. And when I get where I'm going always gets me. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to listen to it after this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's, man, I'm kind of at a loss for words. That's
dude. Yeah. Like that. Like I usually don't tell people about that because like it hits people so.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened. I mean, it's really not that long ago, so I'm really sorry that happened, bro. I wouldn't even know what to do. My dad is 73.
Exactly, man. Like, when my grandpa could work circles around me, so it was just like I thought I had them for at least 25 more years, at least. Like,
yeah.
And it was just to have them ripped away from you like that.
Yeah.
Both of them. So I mean, like, I used to cry thinking about when they were gonna die. Like the thought would come in my head before they ever got sick. I would bawl my eyes out because I just loved them so, and I couldn't imagine being on this earth without them.
Yeah.
And then boom. 2 years after that, lost my uncle, did the same thing. Yeah. And I was with his son when it happened. I got the call. So, and guys, if you're thinking about committing suicide, please call somebody. There's a good saying that says, I'd rather listen to your story than read your obituary. There's people that love you. It's a scar and a hole that cannot be filled once you're gone, and a hurt that you can't get rid of. So call the hotline, call your friend, message me, message Sacred, like 100%. Like you're better here. So it's those are cuts that don't heal.
100%, and that's definitely a message that a lot of people need to hear.
Yeah,
because it's
mental health.
Life is not easy,
dude. No,
it's not easy for any of us, and that's why you really, really have to try your best to be kind, because you just never know what someone else is going through.
Dude, you don't. You really don't. It's like even
people talking to you in your messages,
right?
They don't know that story.
No. I mean, I don't want.
But if they sat here and listened to this whole podcast, I think they'd get a sense of who you are.
Yeah.
And then what came out of their mouth in just the harshness of whatever they're saying to you in the messages, I don't think it would come out because they would actually see you as a human.
Right.
And I'm not saying you said that for sympathy points.
No. And I'm not. But and in the same retrospect, who's not to say that something happened in their life or somebody treated them some way in some of their life, then the way they saw me portrayed and the way I looked on TV that triggered them because they've been through trauma.
100%.
So you know what I mean? But like that's why I just ask people to have an open mind and an open heart about things, man, and just love people and know that we've all been through fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like, to you guys, be proud of yourself. You've gone through some really hard shit. You've gone through some really fucked up shit in your life, and you're still here. You're still kicking, and there's a lot more life to live if you're still on this side of the earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've all been through fucked up shit, and give everybody some grace, honestly.
100%.
Yeah.
What does mental health mean to you?
Mental health to me starts, I'm going to twist this a little bit, but mental health to me starts with this right here first. Take care. If you're struggling with mental health, obviously it means a lot, like all the stuff that I've gone through, but like as far as managing mental health and how to do it and where to start, if you're not exercising and you're not eating good foods and putting good things in your body, and you're depressed, you don't have a snowball's chance in hell of getting better. Start with those two things, correct from there, go from there. I promise you, you're not going to get worse by taking care of yourself. I can't promise you that it's going to make you completely better, it's going to heal you, but it's not going to make you worse. And I can almost 1,000% guarantee that you will get and feel better about yourself, better about your situation. Your chemicals in your brain will level out a bit, but start with the body, the stomach, and the mind, and then it takes care of your mind.
I could second that. I can absolutely say
I can eat bad for a week and have in my chemicals in my brain. I can feel more anxiety.
Yeah.
I can feel more sadness. I can feel those things coming on when I'm not properly taking care of myself. That's why I don't drink, because I get really bad anxiety afterwards too. Real bad.
Yeah, and it's good that you know that, because you could be unknowingly doing something. There's a lot of people unknowingly doing things to their body and putting things inside their body, and they're so used to feeling shitty that they don't know what it feels like on the other side yet. So like you're in tune enough to be like, yeah, I feel anxious after drinking, or maybe it's just strong enough where you know. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if
1000%.
if you've been eating the McDonald's diet for years, then that is your new normal.
Here's a good way of putting it. Like, I've had friends that tell me, like, I feel totally fine. I don't know what you're talking about. I eat like shit and I feel fine. I'm like, no. Well, maybe you feel fine because that's what your level of fine is here, but my level of fine is here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what feeling good feels like until you feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with the
but also not to bash people who've had just bad diet choices, because at the end of the day, again, empathy. There is so much thrown at us in the food industry, and a lot of it's not good.
Most of it's not good.
You know, a lot of the things that are just,
we were lied to about the food pyramid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still also want to give people grace, but what you can pull from this conversation, or at least this part of the conversation, is that what you said, if you take care of your body, you can't promise that you're going to get better, but it won't. You're not going to get worse. You're not going to get worse, but
you're going to feel better.
I have a 99% feeling, like I'm 99% sure that you'll get better.
Yeah. In some aspect, and even if it's just believing in yourself again.
Yeah.
Getting it, like working out a few days and just like, hey, I did that. No matter what kind of day you had, if you woke up that morning or before you went to bed, you even went and walked for 20 minutes, or you did some push-ups, you did that. You conquered your bitch voice for the day. We talked about bitch voice a lot.
The bitch voice, yeah.
The bitch voice in your head is the one that's telling you, hey, hit that snooze button. Don't fold those clothes. That's a bad one for me. Don't wash those dishes right now. You can do it later. That little thing in the back of your mind that's telling you to take the easy route, that's your bitch voice. And once you can label it, call it whatever you want, you can tell it to shut up.
Yeah.
And do what you need to do. And you do that one little bit at a time. You start building more calluses on your brain, on that muscle. And you start believing in yourself more and more and more and more. And all of a sudden, it's just second nature. You're just doing it.
100%. I actually have been, and so there's levels to it too. And you work out, I work out, and I've been working out for a long time.
Same.
Zero cardio.
Yeah?
Yeah, but...
I was like that too.
But in the past couple of months, because I've kind of flirted with cardio in the past year. But in the past couple of months, I'd say maybe 2 months, been wearing this watch, and I've been really monitoring those steps.
Dude.
And I don't think you know how good it's been feeling when I've seen that I've been averaging 10,000 a day.
Dude, that is the number.
I know.
The number.
Believe me, there's a reason I'm averaging 10,000. Okay, I'm going to do it. My mental clarity through the roof.
Yep.
My energy, just waking up with more energy, just adding that next level onto my routine.
Yep.
Oh man.
It's just a part of growth, man. It's like mental growth, it's the physical, like it's crazy. If you really want to get crazy with it, go do 75 hard and stick to it and see what you're capable of. You talk about clarity. Whew.
Yeah.
Or go stay in the woods for 30 days and don't eat anything.
Yeah,
don't do that.
You've done 75 hards a couple times.
Twice. I failed it the first time, 3 times actually. Day 9, day 12, and then day 42. And then this year I failed on day 9, restarted and did it again, and then finished it out. Because I had a men's like little self-development group started, and then 50 of us started, and I think 7 of us finished it. But I was leading the pack, so I had to finish it.
Yeah, you had. I mean, that accountability aspect.
Was scary too. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, because you forget a picture, you're restarting. It's all integrity thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you fuck up, like you restart.
When you're working harder when no one is watching, when you look in the mirror, bro, like when you're able to actually look yourself in the mirror and you know that you're working harder when no one's watching than when people are, that's when you can really feel good about yourself.
Yep.
Because you know.
I did it. I did that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
Nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah, nobody can take that away. But yeah, bro, it's been good, bro. I think
Really
I
good.
have 2 more questions for you, and that's
Hit me.
about it. First question. How can my listeners find you online?
I am on Instagram at Drew Haas 1. My last name is spelled Haas. And Snapchat, Drew Haas 23. YouTube, Drew Haas. I think it's just Drew Haas on YouTube. Drew Haas on Facebook. Pretty simple.
Drew Haas. Drew Haas. Hey,
Drew Haas. And you can remember it. Drew Haas. No. Just Drew Haas.
It's actually such a... you have a dope last name and first name, but...
German.
German, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Means rabbit in German.
Rabbit, like you like to eat. Do you eat rabbits or just squirrels?
Mostly just squirrels.
Okay.
I'll eat a rabbit too, though.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. Anyways, off topic. All right, so last question. When it's all said and done, what's the impact you want to have on the world?
I want to leave a legacy like my grandpa left behind of helping people and being good to people. And I want to be remembered like people remembered my grandpa and just being the type of person that he was. And I want to change a lot of lives, dude. I want to die on my deathbed and know that I did everything that I could and helped as many people as I could and that I made a difference. That's it. I want to leave a legacy behind that my kids can be proud of, that can go on to them. They can help people, but like, that's it, man. I just want to leave a legacy behind of helping people and generally being a good person for like throughout life.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, it's been good, bro. It's been real good. I really appreciate you coming on the pod for the first time by yourself. We definitely got to do this again.
For sure. I'd like to have you on mine when I get up and rolling too.
Yeah, let me know, man. I haven't been on anyone else's podcast yet.
Let me get the kinks worked out before I get you on there first.
But I'd say yes to yours.
Cool, man.
Just let me know.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All right,
man. Peace.
Later.
This is the Sacred Thomas